Black technology, building a lightsaber starting from a graduation project. Hello again, dear adventurers of the multiverse. Thanks for joining us once more on this epic journey. Remember, this story is pure science fiction from our wild imagination, so don't go trying to summon dragons in your backyard. The rights of this amazing novel belong entirely to its original author. We are only the narrators. Do you want more adventures? Show some love to our YouTube channel with a subscription and a like, and if you want exclusive content, our Patreon is waiting for you with open arms. Chapter 76 Inspirational Trio. More than a month ago, Xu Teng was picked up by a helicopter, along with all the materials and data in the project. Half an hour later, the laboratory that was still full was instantly emptied. The paddling trio, Tang Heibo and two other partners, disbanded the project on the spot when Yan Cheng notified them. The three of them were still looking at the direction where the helicopter disappeared. What's the situation? After a few days of experimentation, it suddenly disappeared. Listen to what Dean Yun said. It is indeed this. Wait, normal scientific research projects have this kind of process. The three immediately thought that the blaster gun was not a normal project, and could even be said to be a top-secret project. Everyone signed a non-disclosure agreement at the same time. All the core issues were handled by senior brother Xu alone. Even Dean Yun couldn't help. Oh, I see. That figured out. After all, the three of us are a giveaway. The bosses have all gone to hold research meetings for the bigger bosses. It is normal for us to be disbanded. It is understandable, but why is there so much pain in my heart? I, Tang Heibo, have been the children of others for more than 20 years. I was admitted to Huaking Graduate School. Although it is not excellent, it is not bad, but after meeting senior brother Xu, I learned what true despair is. Forget it, stop talking, cry. The paddling trio, who disbanded on the spot, decided to have a breakup meal to celebrate for more than a month. After that, Tang Heibo had a very happy life. Sure enough, the way of studying away from senior brother Xu was unexpectedly easy and happy, but I was always a little unconvinced in my heart after seeing the real high-end talents. I want to go to a higher world to see the scenery. Huaking cannot be my end. The paddling trio also quietly changed the group name to Inspirational Trio. Hey, I really miss senior brother Xu. I don't know which bosses he is teaching now. Just thinking about it, I heard a rumbling sound. Why did you drive the tractor at school? The surrounding students who were in class were also startled by the sound, and turned to look at the window outside. Fuck, hand job, really? It seems, it's still Wu Zhi. Why is it here again? Wait, why should I say it again? Airplane, Wu Zhi. The next second, Tang Heibo reacted. Pen Fun Library immediately turned to look at the sky not far away. I remember which direction senior brother Xu went to more than a month ago, and which direction is it now? Isn't it? Yes, it must be. At this moment, the group of the Inspirational Trio, which had been quiet for a long time, also moved. My God. This is senior brother Xu coming back, 90% of the time. Yes, so, will our project continue? Although the three of them were abused by Xu Teng's operation in the laboratory, from the bottom of their hearts, as researchers, how could they refuse such a project? Blaster gun. It is a project that has to sign a non-disclosure agreement. How many people in Longuo can join this kind of project when they are graduate students? No, absolutely not. This is an honor. Although the time was short, the three of them did learn something in those few days. I don't know. Let's look at Dean Yun's arrangement, but I don't think there's much hope. As soon as Tang Heibo said these words, the other two immediately understood the meaning. Compared with Xu Teng, the three of them are the same as gifts from the very beginning. They were not asked how much they could help Xu Teng in his project. More meaning. It is estimated that I want to try to cultivate them. If it is cultivated, everything will be fine. If you can't cultivate it, it will be regarded as a failed investment. For more than a month, Xu Teng has not heard any news. If it was really him who came back this time, there was only one reason. It is estimated that the project has been fully completed, perhaps to continue learning and prepare to enter the next stage of experimentation. At this moment, Tang Heibo thought of the fear once dominated by textbooks, not from the library. Even if he glanced at it, he was not qualified. Senior brother Xu, it's really not something we can reach. At the same time, the news in the Huaking Watchet classmate group began to boil again. I saw the plane just now, my classmates. I will definitely not play games tomorrow. Let me explain. To be specific, it is Wazi, not a traditional plane. Not all planes. What is the difference? God arranged the greatest. The difference is in the country without a certain identity, you are not qualified to sit on it, because Wu Zhi was developed for war. Look at me drifting. So, this time, It is possible that some academician has a project near our school. Of course, maybe someone else came to complete some arranged tasks, and it is also possible. Have you noticed that the frequency of WZHI in our school is getting higher and higher? I love big watermelon. You say it like this. It seems that it started when the freshmen entered the school freshman enrollment. Everyone thought about Xu Teng, who was not on the list. Someone went to mess with him behind his back, and he was caught in a pot. I heard that some people are still wearing silver bracelets and are eating free meals inside. I love big watermelon. I'll just assume. Do you think there is a possibility that is Xu Teng above WZHI? Ha ha ha. It seems that I have recently learned to be ignorant. This can also be said. Xu Teng. Everyone paid no attention to this sentence. Even a graduate student who is not on the list is eligible to be sent to the school directly by Wu. Sorry, it's not that I don't believe it. We are all normal people with experience. I can't believe it. It's not just a newly admitted graduate student. At most, it's a little bit better than us. How big a difference can it make? Others didn't care. However, Deng Yi listened to this sentence because in the past month or so, she will send messages to Xu Teng at intervals. How has your school been recently? Do you have time to eat together? Pen Fun Library. None of these got a reply until she took out her trump card and asked the question. Academic problems. I don't understand. Can I ask you for advice? All messages have not been answered. This means that it is not that Xu Teng has not seen the news, but that he has not surfed the internet at all. But now that kind of place will not be able to access the internet for more than a month, and will disappear for more than a month without attracting the attention of classmates. Looking at Wu Zhi, who was getting closer, Deng Yi seemed to have an answer in his heart. Nearby places were cleared, and a cordon was raised. When Xu Teng first came down, he saw a familiar figure greet him. Junior brother Xu, long time no see. Senior brother Yun, long time no see. Chapter 77. No country, no home. Yun Sheng, who is always called unselfish by other students, was always smiling in front of Xu Teng. Every bite of his brother Xu, not to mention being so kind. It was more than a month ago when Yun Sheng met Xu Teng for the first time. He thinks that although he is a genius, youth is his biggest weakness, which means that he has not enough experience in front of real bigwigs. It is impossible to produce scientific research results according to his estimation. If there is no 3 or 4 years, it is not enough to attract the attention of the high level, even if it's a little bit outrageous. 2 years. 2 years should always be needed. The results of it, the time was shortened to more than a month. Although Yun Sheng doesn't know where did Xu Teng go and what did he do in the past month, but when yesterday, the teacher personally called him and asked him to pick up Xu Teng tomorrow, he understood that the blaster project was complete according to the character of junior brother Xu. If it is not completed, he will never return to Huaking. Oh my god, completed a project of technology such as blaster guns in more than a month. Yun Sheng found that it is not that reality is not magical enough, but that his imagination is not enough. Is research really that easy? At that moment, Yun Sheng regained his confidence in scientific research and opened the archives of previous scientific research materials. I can do it. 10 minutes later, Yun Sheng, Abba. At that time, Yun Sheng was thinking, does junior brother Xu still need to return to Huaking? According to his current level, no one in Huaking can teach him the next second. I was shocked by the teacher's words again, and I began to doubt life. Xu returned to Huaking because he wanted to continue studying basic courses. Foundation course. Yun Sheng expressed incomprehension. Yes, Xu's goal is to become an all-round scientific researcher. All-round scientific researcher. Omnipotent. Almighty. This sentence was like being cursed. And it kept turning around in Yun Sheng's mind. It wasn't until his feet started to soften that he woke up. The gap between geniuses and ordinary people turns out to be as big as the reproductive isolation of the two species. It's okay. I'm not a researcher anyway. I'm just a dean in a management position, which doesn't affect me. As long as it's done, the teacher will specialize junior brother Xu's student status, so that he can listen to any professor's class, read any subject textbook, and go wherever he wants, and many more. Yun Sheng began to find a blind spot. If, when I was in class, Xu Teng came to listen to the class, does it not prove that I am also his teacher? Then Xu Teng's teacher is Xu Wei, so when the two forms are equal. Xu Teng saw Yun Sheng giggling beside him all the time, so he decided to speak first. Today, please come to pick me up, senior brother. The dream was interrupted, and Yun Sheng replied calmly, where? It's not troublesome at all. If junior brother Xu has any requirements, just tell me directly. Absolutely, it will be done immediately. As a tool person, Yun Sheng is very conscious, and he can't be an important person, so he can directly become a logistics person. It's also a sense of participation. I'm a little tired, I want to go back and rest first. Okay, junior brother Xu is going this way. Your dormitory is being cleaned every day. By the way, the teacher told me about junior brother Xu. And I have made your student status special. As long as junior brother Xu wants to attend classes, you can listen to all of them. If you want to see other subjects, there are also all textbooks. Have a look. Senior brother Yoon is always so reliable. Thank you, senior brother Yoon. No thanks, no thanks. It was only when Xu Teng was sent downstairs to the dormitory that Yoon Sheng reacted. After more than a month of not seeing each other, junior brother Xu seems to be getting more and more handsome. Is it my delusion? Wrong. Is it possible to improve your appearance by doing scientific research? I've never heard of it. When I opened the door of the single dormitory, it was as clean as it was before I went out. When I walked in, I found that there was hot water that had just boiled in the kettle. Really kind. The teacher said that the work of the parents can also be arranged, so let's ask their opinions first. If Su Wei hadn't taken the initiative to mention this matter, Xu Teng would not have made this request. A blaster gun project is indeed a big event for Longguo. Even with this benefit, it is not a bad thing to fight for it. Only then did Xu Teng remember one thing: he hadn't been in contact with his family for more than a month, and he didn't know if they would be worried. Just turned on the phone. Buzzing. The vibrating sound didn't stop. Tang Heibo's prestige news. Senior brother Xu, are we going to the laboratory tomorrow? Senior brother Xu, you are really gone. Until this sentence just now. Senior brother Xu, are you back? I clicked on the dialogue and replied, well. As a result, before Xu Teng exited the chat window, the other party replied in seconds, fuck, senior brother Xu, you are really amazing. Xu Teng. Now I am a little confused. Is it because I have any special function, so the opposite can always reply in seconds? Buzzing. Deng Yi's news. How has your school been recently? Do you have time to eat together? Academic problems. I don't understand. Can I ask you for advice? A look at the news time. Half a month ago it should have been resolved after so long. Xu Teng typed, if you have time, have dinner together at noon, and then I'll see if you have any academic problems and can I help you solve them. The next second, immediately return, okay, see you at the entrance of the Bohemia cafeteria at noon. So fast again. Wait, why hasn't the academic problem been solved within half a month? It seems a little strange. I don't want to. Xu Teng flipped through the missed call notification message. One day half a month ago, my parents made a lot of phone calls, but after the second day, it stopped. What's going on? Xu Teng just called back the phone and answered it in seconds. Hey, son, are you done with your project? This sentence made Xu Teng stunned. Mom, how do you know? Oh, just 2 weeks ago, a few people came to the house and said that you went to participate in some important project. Let's not worry. At first we thought it was a liar, but your dad said that the person accompanying him was the local bureau chief, whom he had met before. So we were relieved. Just now, the chief asked us how our work was and whether we needed to change to an easier job. Did the secretary personally ask? The first name that popped into my mind was senior brother Yoon, but it was immediately denied. I'm afraid the teacher himself ordered it. Then do you want a replacement? Hey, there's no need for that. We've been working in this unit for more than 10 years now, and if you change to another unit, you'll have to get to know people again. Besides, you're doing projects for the country. How can we just waste the country resources? We only hope that my son, you can contribute more to the country. Some time ago, I read the news that the Dragon Country was secretly sanctioned. By which country? There is no country, and there is no home. Seeing that you have contributed more to the country, we are relieved. The phone lasted for more than half an hour, and my parents rambled about all kinds of trivial matters. At this moment, Xu Teng's heart was very warm. At the same time, I also began to look forward to the drawings given by the Black Technology System for the next mission target, the Sea of Stars. Chapter 78 Special Scholarship. Drop. Xu Teng reached out and touched the phone, and pressed the close button. Look at the time. 11:50. With the addition of energy fluid, even if Xu Teng only slept for an hour, all the tiredness was swept away. Mental strength returned to its best state. After washing his face with cold water, he looked at the chiseled face in the mirror for a while. Xu Teng sighed. The Black Technology System is powerful. I didn't expect that the value of appearance could also be changed. Forget it, I don't want to. According to the pastime points of the system, the task will not be released for at least half a month. Make more use of this time to get in touch with basic disciplines and become an all-round scientific researcher as soon as possible. I agreed with Deng Yi that the lunchtime is 12 o'clock. The dormitory is near the Bohemia canteen, so I won't be late. When Xu Teng arrived at the entrance of the cafeteria, he saw that beautiful landscape again in Kyoto in early November. The weather has begun to turn cooler. Deng Yi was wearing a white woolen coat and black boots, and her tall stature attracted classmates who came and went to look here. Hey, who is this person? Looking at this appearance, it should be Deng Yi. Deng Yi? The one who angered other people in the group and defended Xu Teng. That's right, it's her. Just saying Deng Yi's name simply won't attract too many people's attention because Xu Teng has a lot of high-scoring scholars, nice people and professional level, but when it comes to Xu Teng, everyone is very interested from the beginning of school to now. I have never seen him, and I have never heard of what class he went to. Like a transparent person. And is it possible that the person Deng Yi is waiting for is Xu Teng? Some people around began to stop, wanting to see who Deng Yi was waiting for. A minute later, I saw a sunny, handsome man with a chiseled face approaching from a distance. Deng Yi looked back at the person who came, and then met with uncertainty. Xu Teng, I haven't seen you for more than a month. How come you've become handsome again? Same as readers. Xu Teng smiled. You came early again. It's okay. I just arrived. Last time you invited me to dinner. This time it's my turn to invite you. Hee. Okay. The people watching the lively around didn't change their thinking for a while, and many more. Is the handsome guy who walked past Xu Teng? Why do some people still have so much hair, such good skin, and such handsome people after they have gone to graduate school? Some people are beginning to understand why Deng Yi maintained Xu Teng. The two went up and came to the window where Aunt was eating. Yo, boy. You haven't been here for a long time. Before I was busy, Aunt brought me fried prawns, pork ribs with pickled peppers, and crispy grilled meat. Good. When Xu Teng finished his meal, he turned around. Aunt saw Deng Yi and whispered, "Little girl, how are you two?" Upon hearing this, Deng Yi's face immediately collapsed. No, I still can't hold it. Hey, you can't do this. Let me tell you, you still need to prescribe the right medicine for a person. What is his interest? You can rely on his interest more. I know that. You tell me what it is, and Aunt gives you an idea. Doing research. Hearing this, Aunt's expression was a little stiff, and his hand holding the rice spoon was almost unsteady. It's not that Aunt doesn't help you, it's that the water is deep inside. And I really don't understand anything about scientific research. Then he changed the subject. Is the meal still the same? Deng Yi's expression was a bit strange. Why didn't he say anything halfway through? Sitting on the other side of Xu Teng with food. Oil fried prawns are peeled off the shrimp skin, stir fry in hot oil for dozens of seconds, and immediately sprinkle with ingredients. The golden brown prawn meat and the ingredients are combined together, exuding a tempting aroma. The pickled pepper spare ribs are made of prime ribs, which are in sections, wrapped in a rich soup, and garnished with a little chopped green onion. Excellent sale. The crispy roasted meat is even more crispy, with a little oil flowing out, and the mouth is full of fragrance when you bite into it. Xu Teng was already hungry and devoured it. In fact, to hide the embarrassment on his face because of the effect of energy fluid, he just heard the conversation between Deng Yi and Aunt. It wasn't until that moment that he understood why hasn't half a month's academic problems been resolved. The purpose of the girl opposite is not to ask questions that cannot be answered, but to ask herself, no, I'll try again. When he looked up, he just met Deng Yi's eyes. The latter's eyes were a little flustered for a moment. Didn't you say that there are some problems in your studies that you still don't understand? Have you solved them now? Studibusyness problem? Oh, you said that. Pen fun library. It's over. I didn't bring it. How to do this? Don't panic. Don't panic. Xu Teng is relatively slow on the emotional aspect, so I thought about an excuse at this time. She suddenly thought of a stock. My cat will do backflips. Do you want to go home with me and see inspiration? My homework is in the dormitory. Do you want to go to my dormitory and see? The atmosphere fell into an eerie silence for a while. It wasn't until a few seconds later that Deng Yi realized what he had said. Careless. It turns out that people really have no brains when they are in a panic. Cough. Next time, Xu Teng took the lead to break through the embarrassment and buried himself in eating, brushing the ground. Deng Yi's face was extremely red. It's over. It's over. It will not be so easy to ask Xu Teng out in the future. Actually, Xu Teng didn't take these things to heart. He was just thinking, where should the basic courses be started this time? It stands to reason that chemistry and physics should be placed on the first step because these two can create new things the fastest. For example, energy. But in fact, mechanical, biological can also be, for example, artificial intelligence. Ting. New prestige news. When I opened it, it was sent by senior brother Yoon. Junior brother Xu Teng's special scholarship will be selected soon. I will apply for you. Of course, you don't need to prepare, and you don't even need to give a speech on the day. Just do your job. All the judges here understand. When Yunsheng specialized Xu Teng's student status, he had already revealed a bit of information to the professors. In fact, there is only one sentence: teacher strongly supports Xu Teng to become an all-round scientific researcher. If he attends your small class in the future, don't stop him. Who is Yunsheng's teacher? Academician Xu Teng, an academician who strongly supports graduate students, has become an all-round scientific researcher. Anyone will understand how much contribution this young man has made. Stop him. No, I am afraid that if he appears in our class, he will be a little afraid that he has not explained something well. Special scholarship? Xu Teng had heard about this, but didn't know much about it, so he asked Deng Yi, who was blushing, "Do you know about Tuoking's special scholarship?" Chapter 79. I also study physics. Special scholarship. Deng Yi was stunned for a moment. We were not eating well. Why did you ask this all of a sudden? And many more. She remembered. Xu Teng's family was not very rich, even a little embarrassed. I studied in Xinjiang for my undergraduate degree before, and now I have come to Kyoto. Not to mention that postgraduate tuition is more expensive than undergraduate tuition. If you move to a first-tier city like Kyoto, your daily expenses will also increase. So, this is to reduce the burden on the family, and the goal is turned to the special scholarship. Damn. Deng Yi was shocked. The world of Zuba and Zushin are indeed different. Everyone else is thinking about going out to start classes to make money, but Xu Teng directly turned his goal to the special scholarship. Is this an essential thinking gap? Understood. Well, let's talk about it. Deng Yi calmed down and said calmly, the Huaking special scholarship, in the past few years, only selected a few people every year. Now it has increased, and the number of places is about 10 on average. Basically, each department will only be selected for one person. The people who participated in the selection are all true geniuses. Some people have published papers in influential journals as one author at the undergraduate level, and it is normal to go abroad to give speeches at prestigious foreign schools. Of course, there will also be Olympic champions on the list. Usually, you apply first, submit the list, and then on the day of the defense, you will be given a period of time to give a speech report to explain your academic process. During this period, teachers will come to ask questions, and the defense process is also open to the public, and other students will come here to watch. Speaking of which, Deng Yi paused. She deliberately put the amount of the scholarship at the end. Just to take care of Xu Teng's emotions. It is possible that he was really in financial distress during this period of time. For the special scholarship and other scholarships, the amount will be slightly larger. It used to be 10,000 yuan, but now it's increased by 5,000 yuan. And it has become 15,000 yuan. Xu Teng waited calmly for Deng Yi to finish speaking. Seeing that the other side was looking at him, Xu Teng asked suspiciously, "What's wrong? Is there anything else you haven't said?" "Oh, gone. Well, thank you." Seeing Xu Teng's calm expression, Deng Yi was a little puzzled. "You are not applying for special class scholarship." "What? It's just like asking, aren't you going to apply?" Application. Because he had been in the library before entering school, and he had been participating in the Blaster project since the beginning of school, Xu Teng was not very familiar with the scholarship. If Brother Yun hadn't told Xu Teng about the special scholarship, he wouldn't have known about it for a long time. But Yunsheng said that he applied for him, so he asked a question. By the way, as for the application that Deng Yi asked, Xu Teng thought about it for a moment. Senior Brother Yun said that he helped him apply, and he also dealt with the follow-up issues. This should mean that the application was successful. "Well, I applied. Really applied. That's a special scholarship, Huaking's highest scholarship option." In the words of Huaking people, when the time is up and the microphone is turned on, we know that they are fighting with gods. Why should we mortals be wronged here? Someone once wanted to shoot a video and post it on the internet for the majority of netizens to see, but as soon as the microphone of the students on the stage turned on, she was so surprised that she forgot her purpose for the whole time. Deng Yi swallowed unconsciously. Originally thought that Xu Teng can be in the same school, and the gap has been narrowed. I didn't expect it. Others come here because he wants to come, and his upper limit is far from here, and Deng Yi came here because this is her upper limit and she can only come here. Keep it up. Thinking of this, Deng Yi blushed immediately, and thought of the sentence. "My homework is in the dormitory. Do you want to go to my dormitory and see, Gan, society die?" Just when Deng Yi was thinking about it, Xu Teng asked, "By the way, what major are you studying?" In the past 2 months, he has only met Deng Yi 2 or 3 times during this period. "I was either thinking about the blaster gun, or eating. Now I have decided to embark on the road of all-round scientific research." And I want to know about Deng Yi's major. Maybe you can make up your mind where to start first. Physics major. Physics? Can you be more specific? Although a little puzzled why Xu Teng asked, Deng Yi patiently explained it. Classical mechanics has been studied some time ago, and those are all extensions of high school knowledge. In detail, they are extensions of Newton's laws. Now I'm studying electromagnetism and quantum mechanics. Electromagnetic mechanics, the things to be learned are electric current, magnetic field, application of bizarre law, application of Ampere's loop theorem, magnetic energy density, displacement current, Maxwell's square group, electromagnetic wave, and so on. As for quantum mechanics, the things to be learned are black body radiation, photoelectric effect, Compton effect, and statistical significance of wave functions. Among them, there is an uncertain relationship. The most classic example is Schrödinger's cat. Deng Yi said a lot of content in a series, and in order to fear Xu Teng's impatience, he also speeded up the speed. Who knows? The other party is listening seriously. Seriousness like never seen before at this time. Deng Yi remembered Ant's words in the cafeteria. I want to find out what the other party is most interested in and talk more about. After a long time, this will not be handled in this way. For comparison, my homework is in the bedroom. This sentence is stupid. Xu Teng is thinking now. Electromagnetism. In fact, part of the application of lightsabers and blasters is related to electromagnetic mechanics. Speaking of this, Xu Teng didn't understand everything. The black technology system will provide drawings, but many of the knowledge applications need to be understood by yourself during that time. The experimental process that burst his liver made his experimental experience very rich. After all, theoretical knowledge is still a little worse. The most classic theory of quantum mechanics is the theory of relativity. The theory of relativity is divided into special relativity and general relativity. In that era, there was also an inter-era mass energy equation that was most involved. The essence of the artillery battle is the loss of quality in energy. It can be said that if there is no expression of the mass and energy equation, there will be no artillery battle. Not to mention that the war ended prematurely. It is not an easy task to be an all-round scientific researcher. Even if he has drank the energy liquid, Xu Teng is not completely sure that he can do it. The way of learning is gradual, starting from easy. Even if you have done related experiments yourself, then you simply start with physics. At this time, Deng Yi's voice interrupted Xu Teng's thinking. After talking for so long, I still don't know what major you are studying. Like you, I also study physics. Seeing Xu Teng's smile, Deng Yi's heartbeat suddenly accelerated. Chapter 80, Just Fine. Senior brother. Did happiness come so suddenly? At this time, one sentence can describe Deng Yi's mood. There is no wine in your smile, but I am as drunk as a dog. Hold on, don't get excited. Although Xu Teng's major is the same as mine, I can openly ask him to teach academic issues in the future, but not in the same classroom together. When the school reaches a certain level, it becomes busy academically. Even in the same campus, falling in love can be treated like a long-distance relationship. Not to mention, neither of them have started yet. Then where did you study? Deng Yi secretly made up his mind. It doesn't matter which professor Xu Teng says, which classroom he goes to. I can answer myself. Oh, I am familiar with that. The classroom is on the way. We can be together in the future. Where are the classes? Xu Teng frowned. This was indeed a problem. Postgraduate courses are actually divided into large classes and small classes. Large class, basic courses for several majors together, for example, English, mathematics, and small classes. Most of them take classes with professionals. It is also a professional course that must be studied in this major. No, senior brother Yoon told me that the student status has been specialized. I can go wherever I want. First of all, which professor are you taking classes with? When Xu Teng asked this sentence, Deng Yi was stunned. The plan worked. It didn't work. Damn, how can you pretend to be on the way and inadvertently forget it? Act first. Chen Duowen, Professor Chen? Xu Teng searched in his mind. But he had never heard of this name. Professor Chen is a well-known professor in quantum physics. He once won the Future Science Prize for proposing a series of conjectures on photon entanglement. He has always been strict with us when it comes to teaching. In the area of quantum physics and Hawking, Professor Chen's words have weight. Only the disadvantages: he has never allowed others to take advantage of his small class courses, because he said, to be a teacher is to take good students. If there are more students, he will have no energy. Winning a Future Science Prize, speaking in Hawking has weight. Hearing the words, Xu Teng brought up the key point. In an instant. In the process of studying, several things are important. One is his own talent. At this point, Xu Teng thinks he should have no problem even if there was problem. but he found that drinking Red Star energy fluid improved his concentration once immersed in knowledge. Xu Teng can concentrate more. Another point is that teacher. A good teacher is very important, and can explain the most profound problems in the simplest words. The 2 points Deng Yu said clearly prove that Professor Chen was a competent teacher. As for the strict requirements behind not allowing others to attend the class, for Xu Teng, this is completely irrelevant. Talk to senior brother Yun before going to class, and it will be fine, because Xu Teng also doesn't know whether all teachers know about the specialization of student status. If you are listening to a class and get kicked out, you will be in trouble. It is necessary to say hello in advance. When Deng Yu was still introducing Professor Chen, Xu Teng suddenly asked, "Professor Chen's quantum physics course, is there any class in the afternoon?" Yes, wait for the first class to be Professor Chen's class." Although she was very confused, her face was full of question marks, but still answered Xu Teng's question. "Okay. Then I'll go with you." Deng Yi, who was still nodding, was stunned. According to the previous routine, after the meal, the two should begin to part. "See you next time, Can." What did Xu Teng just say? Take a class together? It's not that I don't want to. Professor Chen is really strict. There were also classmates' friends who came to take a class before, but they were immediately kicked out by Professor Chen, without showing any affection. Just like the unselfish Tin Yun Chen, he was called the most difficult professor in private by his classmates. As if seeing Deng Yu's concern, Xu Teng comforted, "It's alright, I'll talk to my senior brother later." "Brother? Wait, you're not a graduate student who just entered the school. Your senior brother should be not much older than you. Does talking really work?" But then I thought again, Xu Teng's campus card is different, and he plans to apply for Huaking's special scholarship. Maybe our connections are really in different positions. Then let's go. After all, Deng Yu did not ask Xu Teng who a senior brother was keeping a certain fantasy is the most optimistic state. Yu Building, room 308. At this time, several people were already sitting in the classroom, discussing with each other about the Huaking special scholarship in the near future. Topic of, "Hi, Brother Liu, I heard that you will also apply for a special scholarship." Liu Zishan, who was sitting in the front, turned his head and smiled and said, "I didn't try it in the past. Anyway, the qualifications to apply are enough. This special scholarship is not available with application, and it needs to be defended later. There are also teachers who give marks, competing with people from other departments. There is a lot of pressure." "Oh, Brother Liu, you are too humble to talk like this. In the field of quantum physics, who doesn't know that Professor Chen has always valued you?" "That's right, I heard that I took you abroad to give a report to those foreigners, and it's still in their alma mater." "That's right, it's exciting to think about it. In a famous foreign school, teach their students a lesson." Liu Zishan still kept smiling, the corners of his mouth raised, but he kept explaining, "How can you be so exaggerated?" That time, Professor Chen personally went up to give a report to their students. "I was just a small follower led by Professor Chen, and the audience was almost useless. Look, Brother Liu is good at everything, but he is too modest. He is still a small follower, so why didn't Professor Chen take me as his follower?" "Don't say it. This time, Brother Liu's special scholarship is definitely stable. I heard that few people in our School of Physics have submitted applications. Those who submitted applications are not as good as our Brother Liu. For more than 20 years, Liu Zishan has always been a child of someone else's family since elementary school. He has shown his talent for learning, ranking first in the next grade, then sing all the way later. He entered Huaking, and the same is true. Courses in top universities are indeed stressful, but compared to others, for Liu Zishan, it is no more than that. Study hard and still get good grades. This is also the reason why Professor Chen values Liu Zishan." After a few contacts with a student, the stern old professor found that others are okay, their thinking is also active, and the ability to accept things is also fast. So if he has the opportunity, he will also take him to see the outside world. For Longuo, the most important thing is the successors of scientific researchers. The older generation takes this very seriously. Liu Zishan did learn a lot from Professor Chen, but there was a girl and a boy who made him feel a little prickly. The girl is Deng Yi, a girl he has a crush on. The man is Xu Teng, a person without a list, never seen him in class, but never heard of someone who was punished. Chapter 81. Xiao Su, you are really here. It's normal for a girl you have a crush on to have a guy you like. No one can guarantee that the person you like is also the person who likes you. Therefore, everyone will say, emotion is a taboo against the road. Instead of spending time getting to know others, it's better to improve yourself. Makes sense, I understand, but just can't help it, especially for a child like Liu Zishan, who has always been called someone else's family, it is even more uncomfortable if you say Deng Yu likes a person with both talent and beauty. Liu Zishan, accept it every time I think about it. I don't feel bad, but Xu Teng, who is a graduate student, did not attend classes. And he had never heard of any experiments he participated in what can be achieved in the future. After all, a graduate student who has just entered the school, even if it goes against the sky, how far can it go? There are not many people like me who can follow the professor and go to foreign countries for long-term experience among the small group of people. It happened that they had never heard of Xu Teng's name. Just thinking about it, the classroom door was suddenly pushed open. A man and a woman entered classroom 308. The girl is young and beautiful. Everyone knows her. She is a student in the same class. Deng Yi, and the man has never met. Deep eyes, chiseled face, hiss. It looks kinda handsome, same as readers. Who is he? Is it her boyfriend who came with Deng Yi? But this is a small class for graduate students. Previously, students from other classes in the same major came over to take a lesson, but were ruthlessly kicked away by Professor Chen. People in the same major can't come to the class, let alone the relationship as a boyfriend. The old professor's style of study has always been strict, and he cannot accept this situation at this time. Someone stood up and kindly reminded Xu Teng, "Hello, may I ask if you have gone to the wrong place?" The closer he got, the more he realized that the man in front of him was really handsome and many more. Why is it that some people still have so much hair and their looks are so high after being a graduate student? Depend on heartache. Wrong place? Xu Teng was stunned for a moment, then looked back at Deng Yi. Deng Yi shook her head to indicate that there was nothing wrong. Oh, it seems that the old professor does not allow others to take classes, but it doesn't matter. I have already contacted senior brother Yun, and I still remember senior brother Yun replied, "My dear junior brother, Huking, do you want to just go to any class, and just tell me what teaching material you want to borrow? So, do you have time to come and listen to my class?" The rest of the words are quite normal, but the last sentence is really strange, subconsciously ignored by Xu Teng, a person who has stopped doing scientific research. What kind of attractiveness can the class he attends to him? Xu Teng has always been polite to others. Kind reminders. "Oh, thank you, I didn't go wrong. Isn't this Professor Chen's class? I'm here to take his class." Do you know that Professor Chen is still taking his class? Then you are really brave. Seeing the kind-hearted person on the opposite side, Liu Zisheng spoke up. Everyone has said that they are coming to Professor Chen's class. You don't need to persuade them. Maybe there are other people who can do it. When Xu Teng first came in, Liu Zisheng didn't recognize it because the change is indeed a bit big and the so-called change is more handsome. Gan, doing scientific research, can you do more hair and look better? If he hadn't seen it with his own eyes, Liu Zisheng would never have believed it. Finally, there is a positive answer because Xu Teng's voice is a rival in love in his own eyes. Liu Zisheng remembered his voice very clearly. Deng Yi was still standing beside him, so don't even think about it. Apart from the boy in front of him, he really couldn't think of anyone else who would stand by Deng Yi's side. Even if you know Professor Chen, you dare to come and listen to his class. I'll see how you end up waiting. Liu Zisheng had already made up several scenes in which Xu Teng was kicked out and kindly reminded Xu Teng's classmates to look a little strange because Liu Zisheng has never been a nosy person. If it is not related to his own interests, he will not even ask. The handsome guy in front of him doesn't seem to bother him, and many more. It shouldn't be because of the handsome guy, but the person next to him, Deng Yi. I heard that Liu Zisheng has always had some thoughts about Deng Yi. Now it seems that it is tisk. The girl you have a crush on has a boyfriend. Interesting. Do you still want to win love? I'm afraid it's not possible. You are not as handsome as him. Hey, in terms of scientific research level, it is indeed debatable. After all, Liu Zisheng went abroad several times as an assistant with Professor Chen. Wait a minute, I'm afraid there is a good show to watch. The classmates around were more or less aware, and looked at Xu Teng with a strange look, knowing that Professor Chen's class is not good. You still come, boy. It's really brave. Deng Yi also understood the eyes of her classmates. She pulled Xu Teng's sleeve and said, "Forget it. Why don't we go to another professor's class?" Professor Chen not only forbids others to attend classes, but also severely punishes students who skip classes if caught. There must be no good fruit to eat. Xu Teng wouldn't follow him if he didn't mention Professor Chen's position in quantum physics. "Oh, it's fine. Didn't I tell you? I've contacted my senior brother. It's alright." Xu Teng turned his head and comforted. "Contact your brother." The expressions of the classmates are even more strange. "Judging from your appearance, you are quite young, and it is estimated that you are also a student of the first grade. What kind of status can a senior brother of Yanai have, compared with a Professor Chen who has won the Future Science University?" It is a bit inappropriate hearing this sentence. Liu Zishan was even happier if you're not talking nonsense. Forget it. Seeing how handsome you are just talking nonsense. Come on, Professor. Someone here is pretending to be coercive, saying that his senior brother has more face than yours. Come and teach him a lesson. At this time, there were footsteps outside the window. Listening to the sound of the leather shoes, it must be Professor Chen. Quick, quick, everyone sit down. Stop talking. Professor Chen's classroom teaching still pays attention to the same routine that was a long time ago. You must sit well before class and are not allowed to be late, especially those who disturb the teaching order. So as students, they know this very well. Hurry up, let's quickly find a seat and sit down. Deng. Yi hurriedly pulled Xu Teng and sat down in the back seat. The door was slowly opened, and Professor Chen, with gray hair and a spotless suit, walked in with a serious expression. Sure enough, it was the Professor Chen I knew. A strange student came to the classroom and hurriedly scolded him. The people around were also curious. The reason it is called a small class is that there are only 10 people in the class, and every one of them, Professor Chen, is very familiar. You can see who is more and who is missing when you enter the door. Deng Yi was very nervous, grabbing Xu Teng's sleeve and not letting it go. At this moment, everyone saw that the always serious Professor Chen suddenly laughed and said, "Ah, Xiao Su, you are really here. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels." Chapter 82. What are you talking about? Xiao Su, who is Xiao Su, and many more. Something seems wrong. Holy crap. The stern Professor Chen smiled. All the classmates, even Deng Yi, who was very nervous at first, was a little dazed at this moment. Among these 10 people, some people can't close their mouths when they grow up, some people can't believe what they see, and they are even secretly thinking about whether to slap themselves at the same table, but they are afraid of pain. And the most surprised is Liu Zishan among this group of students. He stayed with Professor Chen the longest. No, Professor Chen's living habits and personality. Clothes are always spotless and love to be clean. I don't like to laugh, because I came from that era of educated youth. Pay attention to the etiquette and classroom discipline between teachers and students. And respect teachers and Taoism is the most important thing. For this reason, although Liu Zishan gained a lot of knowledge and learned a little bit from Professor Chen, but he has always been conscientious for fear that something is not done well, making Professor Chen angry because this is the big guy in quantum physics. Offending is no good at all. As for today, this smile took the initiative to say hello. Sorry, I've never heard of it. Is there such a thing in Professor Chen's character design? In front of him, this person named Xu Teng, who has never attended a class, and who I heard has never met in the laboratory, even being greeted by Professor Chen. He was still smiling in class. It turned out that people who are not Professor Chen will not collapse, but I'm not worthy. Sour, just like a lemon in an orchard. Liu Zishan's face was stiff and flushed, and he even wanted to flee the scene. Others around also reacted. Xiao Su, which Xiao Su? Wait, there is a little suggest the Xu Teng that working sent several applications a day. Xu Teng who never showed up. It was him. He was so handsome and was greeted by Professor Chen. It turns out that the gap between people can really be so big. That is, 1 billion points. Huh? Will Professor Chen take the initiative to greet me? Xu Teng was stunned for a while. He didn't expect this situation at all. Does senior brother Yun have such a big face? No, it should be the teacher's face. Xu Teng smiled and said, Professor Chen, I want to study with you for a while recently. Can you see it? Okay, of course there's no problem. You're welcome. If Xiao Su comes to my class, it's my pleasure. Although Chen Duowen is a bit rigid in some respects, he is very tolerant of true geniuses. The foundation of the country's strength lies in scientific research, and the military aspect accounts for a large proportion. As a well-known professor of quantum physics, Chen Duowen has the right to know. In some respects he knows what the person standing in front of him has done recently. Li Rongsheng and a group of weapons department bosses deliberately stopped the project in hand for a short period of time, just to rush over to listen to his report meeting when the final project was completed. Li Rongsheng and Su Wei were still vying for Xu Teng. Li Rongsheng and Su Wei are both academicians of the Dragon Kingdom. As two people who can represent the highest scientific research level in the country, they have to compete for Xu Teng. The meaning behind this is self-evident. What surprised Chen Duowen the most was that he was young and had already gone a long way in one direction, but suddenly decided to become an all-round scientific research talent. The point is, Both are still supportive young people who are supported by academicians. It is not enough to use the sentence young and promising. It is correct to say that he is a leader who can open the curtain of science and technology in the new era. Xu, this kind of person, the future goal is destined to be the sea of stars. Come to listen to my class, an unremarkable Professor Chen. You say I am honored or not. Scientific researcher first, age is not the most important. No, yes. Hearing Professor Chen's words, Xu Teng blushed. Where? Professor Chen's words are serious. Haha, Xu really can speak. Then I will start the class now. If Professor Chen's smile at Xu Teng originally shocked them, now it's a shock to them. Professor Chen not only welcomed, but also spoke with a smile. Professor Chen said it was his honor, and he spoke with a smile. Professor Chen said that he was going to start the class now, and it was 5 minutes after the class time, and he was talking with a smile again. The most surprising thing is Deng Yi, she was speechless. Was it really senior brother Xu Teng saying hello? What kind of status does this senior brother have? The point is, Professor Chen has never been a good talker. Senior brother is not the most important. Xu Teng is the most important. I am afraid this is the kind of treatment that has overcome the problems of the nature of the world. Dong dong dong. Chen Duowen knocked on the blackboard, signaling everyone to concentrate. When you are in class, everyone don't desert, and listen carefully to the class. Deserting. Listen carefully. I'm listening to a ghost. Still listening. Liu Zishan's mentality collapsed, and there was no scene where Xu Teng was kicked out. This also means that he really has a very good senior brother. The key point is, Xu Teng is also very good. So, dying from a panic and getting up from a sickness, the clown is actually me. Looking at the profound eyes of the students around him, Liu Zishan didn't want to stay in the classroom for a second, but he didn't dare to leave. Can only accept the judgment of the eyes of classmates, such as sitting on pins and needles. The level of scientific research is really not as good as mine. No. I guess, probably, I must be living in a dream. Is the party concerned? Xu Teng didn't care about the reactions of the students around him. He came to listen to Professor Chen's class to prepare for the tasks released by the system in the future. Unlike the last time, this time when the system absorbed very little energy value, there was a new movement. Just now he saw a virtual screen. The next set of drawings will be released 1 month later. This is the first time that the system shows the release of drawings, so this month, Xu Teng needs to add a little more basic knowledge. At this time, Professor Chen began to speak. Quantum physics is a branch of physics that studies the laws of motion of microscopic particles in the material world. It mainly studies atoms, molecules, condensed matter, and the basic theory of the structure and properties of atomic nuclei and elementary particles. The theory of relativity together forms the theoretical basis of modern physics. Quantum physics consists of two parts. One is quantum mechanics, which is a physical theory at the atomic level and a theory that explains the laws of matter motion in the microscopic world. The other is quantum field theory, which studies the basic laws of fields and reveals the fundamental laws related to the nature of matter. Some deep questions. Deng Yi, who is sitting next to Xu Teng, is a little strange, because these are the basic meanings of quantum physics. Why did Professor Chen start from the beginning? Is it for Xu Teng? Looking at Xu Teng beside him, Deng Yi asked in a low voice, I want to ask, before coming to Professor Chen's class, were you really studying quantum physics? Xu Teng pondered for a while, then turned around and said, that's not true. I was reading textbooks on hot weapons before. Deng Yi, what are you talking about? Chapter 83. Xu Teng will not deceive people, and there is no need for him to deceive people. This also means that he is telling the truth. There are indeed many professional courses in Huaking, and the library also has a large collection of teaching materials, but a book on hot weapons, what is this? Do libraries really have books on this? We are not all graduate students. Why do we feel that the gap between us is as big as a century? Really a billion? Just when Deng Yi doubted his life, this class was the happiest in Professor Chen's entire life. The whole time is faced with a smile, smiling in class. In the past, Chen Duowen would not wear a suit to class. He was obsessed with cleanliness and hated the stains on his clothes. Before class, he received a message from Dean Yun. Junior brother Xu and I just applied, and during this time, I will go to Professor Chen, and you will take classes. During this time, Professor Chen was in trouble. Brother Xu Teng, all the professors were greeted in advance, and the order was given. The school should open all courses and teaching materials to pave the way for Xu Teng. Try to make him an all-round scientific researcher as soon as possible. Others are still waiting, and I have already been selected. Haha, so this is how happy I felt when I was selected. Chen Duowen was very happy, so he hurriedly went back and changed into a suit. which was the suit he wore when he won the Future Science Prize symbolic. I hurried over to class all the way, opened the door and saw Xu Teng exactly what the rumors say, talented, humble, and polite. How to see, how to like. Hey, did you mention Liu Zishan to me? This is your fault. How can a slightly stronger ordinary person be on a par with a real genius then? During this entire class, Chen Baowen's attention was on Xu Teng. When Xu Teng writes fast, he slows down a bit. When Xu Teng frowned, he would feel a little stunned. Did he say something wrong? When Xu Teng raised his brows, he would feel relieved. This person in front of him might really become the first all-round scientific researcher in the history of the Dragon Kingdom. The surrounding students were completely numb, and their scalps were numb throughout the class. Professor Chen has never seen him smile. But when there was another Xu Teng in the classroom, he was smiling. The whole class. Have you noticed that Professor Chen is still wearing? This is a situation that has never been seen before. The whole class was focused on Xu Teng. I almost thought I was here to accompany me. The classmates also have a private group. In the past, no one dared to take out their mobile phones to play in class. Now, Professor Chen doesn't see them at all, which is why they dare to complain in the group. Until this time, some people reacted. Several circulars issued by Xu Teng before stated that they did not think it was a particularly big deal. Pen Fund Library. After all, judging from the results, it was the other party who smeared Xu Teng first. As a school, it is normal for the official to come forward to explain, but judging from the current situation, it seems that they still think about Xu Teng in the direction of insignificance. You guys may wish to be a little bigger, so someone took a candid photo of Professor Chen smiling in class and posted it to the group. Heaven, earth and earth, I lie, trough, this is Professor Chen. I love big watermelon, this is definitely Professor Chen. I am impressed. I went to his class before and was kicked out. He said, I only teach a part of the students, there are too many, I don't have the energy to take care of it. I will definitely not play games tomorrow. Chen, how come Professor Chen is smiling in class? I remember that he has always been a very serious person. I love big watermelon. No, I definitely didn't take pictures, I can guarantee. Wait, why is Professor Chen still wearing a suit? Look at me drifting. Why, does this suit have a history? I love big watermelon, the origin is very big. Do you remember that Professor Chen won the Future Science Award that year? He wore this suit to accept the award. If it wasn't for a major occasion, Professor Chen wouldn't wear this suit. Important occasion. Liu Zishan, who had been peeping at the screen, turned black. I have a MMP. I don't know if I should say it or not. I am afraid of offending Professor Chen. In Professor Chen's eyes, teaching Xu Teng was a major occasion, and he even wore a suit with special meaning. No wonder, from the time he came in, Liu Zishan noticed that Professor Chen's attire was a bit grand. It was originally arranged for Xu Teng. I love big watermelon. What's wrong with Professor Chen? Is he going to accept the award again today? No, you don't need to wear a suit when you receive an award. You don't need to wear it in class. A professor who is obsessed with cleanliness, is he not afraid of getting his clothes dirty? Do not ask, don't ask. I have begun to doubt life. Liu Zishan screamed wildly in his heart. Scientific research is so tiring, because there is a student in the classroom today. Student. All the students who were peeping at the screen were aroused by curiosity. It was the students who came to be worthy of Professor Chen's attention, who, I love big watermelon, who, the formation quickly followed dozens of them. Research is so tiring. Xu Teng. The Xu Teng who never attends classes, and the Xu Teng who working issued several announcements in succession, then a candid photo was thrown up. Shit. This was the first reaction that popped into the minds of all the students in the group. The next thought was, no. Absolutely impossible. Someone is forcing April Fool's Day today to make a fool of us. As a result, I saw that candid photo. Perfect profile, chiseled face, upright sitting posture, and Professor Chen who is smiling on the stage. Nimas, I love big watermelon and am completely autistic. You are not willing to take a class with labor and capital and majors. He also said that he lacked energy and that he was responsible for the students who came to my class. So he kicked me out. And Xu Teng, who is also a student, you are wearing a suit and smiling. What is the gap? This is it. I love big watermelon. The defense is broken. The defense is broken. God arranged the biggest. The defense was broken, followed by a series of formations, brushed to 99 in an instant. No way. Chen Duao, as a great master of quantum physics, has a very high academic status in Huaking, and everyone in the same major does not know it. The students who took photos and posted photos were very happy at this time. Human beings have one thing in common. When I break the defense alone, it is very uncomfortable. However, I let everyone next to break the defense, and my discomfort was evenly divided. Even looking at their furious appearance, I was a little happy. Look at me drifting. Xu Teng is so handsome. Where did the person who forcibly interrupt the formation come from? Deng Yi, who was peeping at the screen, also frowned and wrote down the title secretly. In the next second, there was another voice in the group. I love Big Watermelon. Even if Xu Teng can go, he will definitely not understand. I have never heard of such a person in the School of Physics. So if Professor Chen and others would ask questions, Xu Teng would never be able to answer them then. Chapter 84 Challenge Difficulty Full. Liu Zishan, who was still in doubt in his life, thought he was okay again. Quantum physics was only gradually proposed at the beginning of the 20th century. Compared with classical mechanics, optics and other disciplines, it is too young. This means that many situations have not been perfected. For example, the theorem is only used under certain circumstances, and beyond the situation, it has become a conjecture that people often say on this territory. There are many things that can be excavated, but for ordinary people, the most intuitive feeling is two words: difficult to understand and difficult to learn. Often listening, your face begins to heavy involuntarily. A word popped up in my mind. What are you saying when you ride your horse? Why do I feel like what you said is like God is throwing seeds, full of uncertainty? Classic example. Schrodinger's cat put the cat inside a box with a small amount of radium and cyanide in an airtight container. The decay of radium has a probability. If the radium decays, it will trigger the mechanism to break the bottle containing cyanide, and the cat will die. If the radium does not decay, the cat will survive. Traditional understanding: cats are either dead or alive, but in the theory of quantum mechanics, it becomes something else. To put it simply, I don't know the state of the cat without opening the box, so it is a cat that is both dead and alive. Do you understand? I don't understand. At the beginning, Liu Zishan was confused by this class, and he explained to himself comprehensively for a long time before convincing himself. Since then, he began to understand a sentence: the end of science is theology, and it is not without reason. It is no wonder that many of the great figures in history, such as Newton, developed into the study of theology in their later years. Look again, not far away, Xu Teng, sometimes frowning, sometimes riding quickly. From the beginning to the present, Professor Chen has talked a lot, and he is almost catching up with their progress. How? Xu Teng, who has never met in the School of Physics, was able to digest so much and keep up with us when he first came to class. Stop dreaming. God wouldn't dare to do this even if he throws a dick. Then, Liu Zishan was happy and cautiously looking forward to it. Seeing how serious you are now, how embarrassed you will be after a while. Deng Yi, who has been spying on the screen, is also a little worried about Xu Teng, because she has no temper at all. Because of quantum physics you torture me 100 times. I treat you like my first love. The first few introductory courses almost gave her autism. Although Xu Teng has a certain foundation. Did he say that it is a hot weapon? The knowledge of thermal weapons has nothing to do with quantum mechanics. I think should not be. When Chen Duao started to teach Xu Teng, he arranged the general order of lectures because Xu Teng doesn't have that much time. It is much more difficult to become an all-around researcher than a solo researcher. Dean Yun also made the situation very clear, just as Xu Teng meant. First, teach him all the basic courses at the fastest speed. During this hour, Chen Duao talked about a lot of basic content, and he even kept up with the progress of the students present. I should find a chance to ask Xiao Su. Speaking alone will not necessarily deepen understanding. Asking it in the form of a question can deepen Xiao Su's impression. Unfortunately, I can only be Xiao Su's teacher for a while. Forget it, I will be satisfied for a while. When I meet those old friends in the future, I can say, I used to be Xiao Su's teacher. Chen Duao knocked on the blackboard. This action made all the students in the class excited because this is Professor Chen's classic action before asking questions. Deng Yi, what should I do? Xu Teng can't really answer other students. Oh, here we go. The exam is coming. Liu Zishan. Professor Chen, please don't be soft-hearted. You must ask Xu Teng to the death. Xiao Su, I taught you so much basic knowledge just now. I want to inspect you now. No problem. When the sentence came out, everyone was stunned. Professor Chen, why are you so humble, asking questions? Do you still need to be affirmed by others? Of course. Professor Chen, it's my honor to take your course. Although senior brother Yun made all the arrangements secretly, I have to say that Xu Teng really thought so. Every old professor has come from that turbulent era. Not only was there pressure from external enemies, but there were also people inside who were constantly doing things can persevere wholeheartedly and dedicate one's strength to the development of the motherland. Xu Teng also considers it an honor to be a temporary student of these professors. Chen Duao smiled even more happily. Modest and courteous, with a clear goal, young and promising, there is a successor, Zhao Wendao, evening death. Okay, it was this feeling. Okay, Xiao Su, then listen carefully. Quantum mechanics, what is it about? When the question is asked, not only a sentence pops up in other people's minds. This is it. Is Professor Chen pouring water? The sea outside is not as much water as you put in. Xu Teng was also stunned for a moment, but still answered seriously. Quantum mechanics is simply discontinuity and probability. In our classical physics, the states of all objects are deterministic. But in quantum mechanics the positions of particles and the energy can't be measured. Okay, it's alright. Chen Duowen interrupted Xu Teng's idea of continuing to speak, and what surprised him was that Xu Teng's memory was surprisingly good because Xu Teng seems to have memorized all the words in the textbook. He just said it once. Xiao Su, then we will enter the next stage of investigation. Turning around, Professor Chen began to write on the blackboard. In order for the hydrogen atom in the ground state to be excited to emit the Riemann system, the spectral line with the longest wavelength, a spectral line composed of the spectral lines emitted by the transition from the excited state to the ground state, at least the ground state hydrogen atom should be provided with how much energy? The ionization energy of the ground state of the hydrogen atom is, and the ionization energy of an excited state atom with an ionization energy of plus 0.554 eV has its electrons moving in the orbit of N2. Seeing the set of blackboard writing topics, everyone was dumbfounded. I thought that Professor Chen was planning to let the entire Pacific Ocean be his water, but looking at it now, totally we think too much. Professor Chen is still the same Professor Chen. And it is not because of Xu Teng that he has changed much. Always be serious in the academic attitude. It was the most basic question just now, but now it comes directly to the truth. It's only been a little over an hour. During this time, Professor Chen basically just talked about a general basic content, and proposed theorems, formulas, and basic definitions. So I wrote all the knowledge points just mentioned as topics. Riding a horse is like teaching elementary school students about the mathematics they need to take in the college entrance examination. Then I directly took out the Jiangsu mathematics real questions for the college entrance examination for you. Come on, you have done all these questions for me. Release water, non-existent. This directly fills the challenge difficulty. Chapter 85. Everyone looked at Xu Teng, waiting for his next move. Someone started talking in a low voice. Fuck. Professor Chen, this is true. One thing to say, this behavior directly opened my eyes. At first, I thought that Xu Teng's senior brother had a lot of face, but now it seems that Professor Chen's set of topics is not giving Xu Teng a chance. Some classmates began to turn their heads to look at Liu Zishan because the one who knows Professor Chen the most is Liu Zishan among this group of students. Liu, brother Liu, are you saying that Professor Chen is giving Xu Teng a slap in the face? Originally, this person was going to call him by name, but after thinking about it, he couldn't be so real. We will meet every day from now on. It was this subtle difference that Liu Zishan noticed. Good guy, this Professor Chen hasn't said anything yet. I almost changed from brother Liu to Xiao Liu. Liu Zishan frowned. If Professor Chen didn't respect Xu Teng so much at first, he would really think it was an act of making things difficult for him. But even asking a question has to tell Xu Teng first, is this still making things difficult? That is of course impossible. So, this is the right thing to do. That's right, it's important. Unlike other professors, Professor Chen has a rigorous attitude towards academics all his life. In the bottom of my heart, I also hope that longer scientific research will have successors. Then, the more he cared about the person, the more he would carefully examine the younger generation. To put it simply, it will not put a drop of water. So, Xu Teng is probably the person that Professor Chen values most in his life. How can anyone finish the basics of quantum mechanics in just over an hour, and immediately start the practice test? Is this a test? This is simply killing. Liu Zishan thought about it in a different position. If it was himself, after more than an hour, let alone do the problem, I'm afraid I don't even understand the meaning of some of the questions. Rolling his eyes, it is directly, who am I, where am I, and what am I doing? Abba. As soon as he thought of this, Liu Zishan began to be incompetent and furious. What do you care about moi, not moi? It's better to watch it quietly by yourself. The student who asked the question originally wanted to say, Liu, don't give you some sunshine, you will start to shine. However, in the end, He was forced to hold back at this moment. Deng Yi, who was sitting next to Xu Teng, became nervous. You really have to go up and do it? Question. The other students also turned their heads to look at Xu Teng because that's exactly what they thought. Are you really going up? People, at least, should be so defiant. Xu Teng wouldn't dare to go up if he didn't drink the Red Star energy liquid, but after drinking this energy liquid, many feelings are really indescribable. The fundamental theorem of quantum mechanics was indeed memorized after he heard Professor Chen say it once. In the eyes of everyone, it is completely impossible to digest the basic knowledge taught by Professor Chen for more than an hour, but that hour or so was stretched out in Xu Teng's mind just like an archived file. It is constantly slowed down and read complete digestion until now impossible. Sorry. I think it's more than enough. So, Xu Teng smiled at Deng Yi. It doesn't matter, I just want to challenge myself. Challenge yourself. Professor Chen smiled and said in his heart, yes. Young people just want to try unknown difficulties. At this time, the news in the WeChat group was already very lively. I love big watermelon, how about it? Xu Teng couldn't answer a question, so he asked him to pretend. Hard to say, after all, if you enroll through special channels, there is still something to be learned. God has arranged the greatest. I don't think so. Professor Chen is famous for his rigorous scholarship. I know a senior who was scolded and cried by Professor Chen before. If Professor Chen really asked a question, he would never let the water go. I love big watermelon, so Xu Teng can't protect himself today. Ha ha ha. Look at me drifting. You can't target Xu Teng just because he is handsome. A group of dogmen. I love the big watermelon, frowning and saying in my heart, where did this stupid woman come from? Why is her speech so ugly? Kick it out. Failed to kick out. Click on the attribute of, look at me drifting, to take a look again. It turned out to be the group leader Nimas. There are bad people in the crowd at this time. Someone posted the latest news in the group. Scientific research is so tiring. Just now, Professor Chen asked Xu Teng about the definition of quantum physics on the spot. If Professor Chen hadn't stopped him, Xu Teng would have memorized all the definitions in the textbook. Scientific research is so tiring. In the latest news, Professor Chen gave a blackboard on the basics of quantum physics. Although there are some basic topics that I can't understand, Xu Teng doing questions on stage. It was followed by a candid photo. Xu Teng listed the equation next to him with chalk and was solving it. Scientific research is so tiring. By the way, I want to explain this photo. It seems that the speed is not fast, but in fact, Xu Teng's speed of answering questions has already started to take off. It's just ridiculous to open the door to the ridiculous, and to get home with this series of latest news. The group fell into silence. No, not possible. How can there be such a person in the world? Someone who has never appeared in the School of Physics, just listened to the class for more than an hour today, and began to perform a basic answer on the spot. And it's still a question from Professor Chen, who never releases water. When Xu Teng got the chalk and walked to the first question, he found out. The first question is indeed a basic question. The main point of solving the first problem is that it is calculated according to the experimental law of hydrogen atom spectrum. It can be obtained from the Lyman formula and the Rydberg constant, and n should be 2 or 3, the spectral line with the longest wavelength, corresponding to n equals 2 at least the energy hv, lowercase above, that should be provided to the ground state hydrogen atom equals E2, and because, so, the result is, 13.6 F2, equals 10.2 F. The surrounding classmates were dumbfounded when they looked at the familiar formulas. It's not that they can't figure it out, it's that this person listened to the lecture for more than an hour. Some people do not believe in evil. They take out the scratch paper and do what the sound of clattering sounded, and after a calculation, the result was indeed 10.2 F. Boom, everyone heard a heartbroken voice in the bottom of their hearts, and their mentality exploded on the spot. Liu Zhisheng secretly said, Nimas, why did you perform a miracle for us on the spot? The point is not here. The second question. Xu Teng started to skip steps. Yes, skip steps. Problem solving point. Ionization energy refers to the energy required to excite an electron from the ground state to the free state. The ground state ionization energy of a hydrogen atom. Writing here, Xu Teng did not write. I drew with chalk next to it, so I filled in the blank space of the title. The ionization energy is 13.6. And it moves on the orbit of n equals 5. There was another screeching sound. The final result, completely correct. Everyone's mentality exploded. You are riding a horse. Why? You can start jumping steps from the second question. You can count it right and let us not live. Chapter 86. I am a very warm-hearted person. From the moment Xu Teng came to the stage to do the question, Professor Chen's eyes have been fixed on him and never left in Professor Chen's eyes. These topics are not difficult, and they are all basic topics for pioneering thinking. A little bit of a topic of thinking Xiaosu should be okay. No, my request should be lower. After all, Xiaosu is only a freshman who has only listened to the class for more than an hour. I'm a little more serious like this. How can there be such a strong student in this world? Just as Professor Chen tried to convince himself, if Xiaosu can't do it, what kind of statement should he use to make him round? As soon as I looked up, I saw the series of formulas and the final standard answer. Oh my god. Hence the first question is done. Start the second question immediately, and the second question began to skip steps. The ionization energy is 13.6, and it moves in the orbit of n equals 5. Another standard answer. Pen interest library. If Professor Chen had doubts before, it has now become a complete affirmation. Xiaosu has indeed digested everything. From the third question, Xu Teng's speed has obviously accelerated. This question, compared with the previous two questions, requires a little more use of the formula, and the thinking needs to be turned a little, because we have to consider the energy brought by the incident light. A zero is the metal work function. When the angle between the incident photon and the incident photon becomes smaller, Professor Chen has not finished speaking in his heart. When I saw Xu Teng swish, I wrote out the answer in 2 strokes. Chen Duao. The old professor began to doubt life for the first time. Wait, is quantum mechanics really that simple? No way. Thinking about how hard it took me to convince myself when I was studying the first class, I almost closed myself from the beginning. Today, Xu Teng is completely immersed in the world of quantum mechanics. The questions on the blackboard are like a world. Each question stem is a small boss to be cleared. And he himself is like a warrior with a sword overcoming obstacles. The brain is running fast. The frequency is the smallest. That is, the wavelength changes the most. The main point of solving the problem, according to Einstein's photoelectric effect equation, E equals W. The incident photon can be obtained. The energy is greater than the metal work function, so it proves that the photoelectron has a certain kinetic energy. The formula is like a flying spirit spinning around in front of you. Whatever you need, just grab it. The chalk shortened, rapidly changing, one after another. When the last formula was completed, Xu Teng exhaled, finally done turning around. He threw the unfinished chalk on the podium. Look up. All the classmates were dumbfounded, and some of them didn't even close their open mouth. Some. What happened to them? Didn't Professor Chen say that the questions are all basic questions? Am I miscalculating? When this thought appeared, Xu Teng turned around and checked it again in his heart. After a minute, that's right, this is the answer. Turning his head, he said to Professor Chen, who was standing in front of the stage, Professor Chen, I finished writing. You can take a look. No response. Professor Chen, Professor Chen. After shouting 2 sentences in a row, Chen Duowen finally recovered from the shock. Oh, Xiaosu, you're done. Of course. Chen Duowen, who had been standing beside him, saw that he was done. It's just that he doesn't understand why can a person jump steps from the second question and do direct mental arithmetic from the third question. The final answers were all correct. It's as simple as a primary school student picking up the Jiangsu mathematics paper for the college entrance examination, frowning, and waving his pen. Swish swish. After 10 minutes, he said, cut, that's all. What a hot topic, and want to stop me from going to work, leaving smartly, hiding merit and fame. Professor Chen, take a look and see if the answer is wrong. I did a mental calculation just now, and there should be no problem. The classmates who were still writing and counting the third topic and the audience immediately felt, I am tired, destroy it, and hurry up. Human words, I haven't figured out the third question yet. So you did the math again. Chen Duowen was also numb to his scalp by this sentence, but the next second, he was very excited. This is true genius. No problem. Before Xu Teng could react, Chen Duowen hurriedly said the following sentence. Xiaosu, are you willing to follow me to study quantum physics all the time? The old researchers all have one thing in common, that is, love talents. For them, there is no need to hide and tuck. Whenever they see a person with extremely strong talent, they can't help it. The meaning behind this sentence is that you want to be my teacher. Xu Teng is a little strange. Why every senior scholar wants to join them. In the end, before he could say the words, he heard Chen Duowen muttering to himself, hey, no, you have a mission. Forget it, it's uncomfortable. Jingle bell. A big class ended just at this time. Chen Duowen carefully put all the books on the podium into his briefcase, and after taking the dust off his body, he walked to Xu Teng and said solemnly, Xiaosu, I won't take up the rest of your time. If you want to attend a class in the future, just come directly. Your senior brother will send you the class schedule. Trouble, Professor Chen? Hey, no trouble, no trouble. Chen Duowen waved his hand, then walked away, muttering as he walked, it's a pity. Hey, it would be great if it was my student. But it's okay, you can blow it with those old guys. Today I witnessed the birth of a genius with my own eyes, haha. In the following courses, Xu Teng will indeed come again. However, the next plan needs to change. The system will release drawings after 1 month. Although it is random, the overall technology level will be higher and higher. Physics has several sub-disciplines: classical mechanics and theoretical mechanics, electromagnetism and electrodynamics, thermodynamics and statistical physics, quantum mechanics. In a month, only studying quantum physics is obviously not enough. With the addition of the red star energy liquid, Xu Teng wanted to challenge himself and picked up his phone. Senior brother Yun, I need to trouble you with something. The next second, immediately return. Junior brother Xu, feel free to say anything if you have anything. I am a very warm-hearted person. Warm-hearted? Xu Teng is a little strange, because it seems that senior brother Yun's reputation among many students is not this one. Forget it, it doesn't matter. I want to be exposed to the basics of all physics majors in a month. Mom. Yun Sheng was really taken aback by Xu Teng's words. He wiped the screen with his hand, only to realize that he was not mistaken. He asked again uncertainly, Junior brother Xu? Are you kidding me, senior brother Yun? I'm not kidding. Chapter 87: The Romance of a Real Man. If other people talked to Yun Sheng like this, he would have gone mad long ago. Want to get in touch with all the basic knowledge of the major disciplines of physics in a month? I think you are embarrassing me, thinking I am a cloud? Doraemon? Sheng, it is Xu Teng who can make a request. How could my dear junior brother Xu be wrong? If someone really must be at fault, it must be my Yun Sheng's fault. Brother Xu, don't worry, I will sort out the schedules of all the professors in a while. Oh no, I will notify all the professors in the School of Physics to come and hold a meeting, so that they can arrange their own timetables reasonably, and let junior brother Xu have a daily course. It's all full. If anyone else hears that the classes are full every day, for a month in a row, it was destined to explode in his mentality, and he would doubt his life in class. Xu Teng is different. On the contrary, thinking of this incident will make him feel certain the more knowledge you have, the more humble you are, because he found that the mountain of scientific research is never ending, and it will never end. If you think you have come to an end, you are only limited by your cognition. I trouble senior brother Yun. No trouble, I will definitely arrange all the class schedules tonight, and I will send them to junior brother Xu. After sending the message, Yun Sheng started to call the professors. Each professor's class is scheduled at the beginning of the semester, and now it is a hassle to adjust, but he knew that every professor would be willing. Xu Teng is a scientific research talent that academicians value. Senior brother Yun, you are still so reliable. Putting away the phone, Xu Teng looked up, and the students around him stared at him blankly, as if they were looking at some monster. What's the matter with you? Get out of class is over now. Why are you looking at me? What are you looking at? Hey, brother, don't you really know what happened just now? Now they understand that the entire class just now was given by Professor Chen for Xu Teng alone. Although it is a bit outrageous, it is still within the scope of everyone's understanding. There are many geniuses in this world, and there is indeed no one worse. Well, those standard answers to the quantum mechanics questions on the blackboard, it's so shocking. I almost thought, I don't live in reality, but in TV someone smirked and said hello. Oh, I have problems with my hearing. If it wasn't for Brother Xu's reminder, I wouldn't know the get out of class was over. Brother Xu? Xu Teng was baffled by this title immediately. Someone responded, oh, me too. Thanks to Brother Xu's reminder, is Brother Xu still coming to class tomorrow? Ask Xu Teng's contact information directly, and it should be rejected, so I decided to fight from the side tonight. Senior brother Yun will sort out all the class schedules. As for whether he will come to class tomorrow, Xu Teng really doesn't know. Probably so, that's for sure. Then, see you tomorrow, Brother Xu. Goodbye, Brother Xu. The weather has gotten cold recently. You must pay attention to your body and don't catch a cold. After Xu Teng's performance, everyone knows that as long as this momentum continues, Xu Teng will definitely be the leader of the scientific research community in the future. There are thighs. Why not hug? As for Liu Zhisheng, sorry, I'm not very familiar with the student Liu, and Liu Zhisheng also took advantage of the chaos to walk out. It's not that I didn't think about resisting, but I finally found out that I didn't have time to resist and just GG. Where are you going? Xu Teng asked Deng Yi, who was still sitting in the seat and didn't regain his senses. Oh, wait for math class. I have to go to class, Deng Yi replied subconsciously. Okay, Seeing Xu Teng packing up his belongings, Deng Yi couldn't help but ask, "Where are you going then?" "Library." Xu Teng had already planned everything in his mind. It will take a while for senior brother Yun to adjust the courses arranged by the major professors even at this time tonight. It was a very rushed process for him going to the library before. This is the best way. There is a staff member arranged by the senior brother. When he has decided to study the basic course of physics during this period, the senior brother will definitely prepare the corresponding materials. Recalling the system's 1-month countdown is more like reminding Xu Teng, your tasks will become more and more important in the future, so don't be fooled by the achievements in front of you. Only researchers who continue to climb to the top will go further and further. Looking at Xu Teng's back, Deng Yi's mood is a bit complicated, and the gap with this person is really widening. She secretly said in her heart, "Come on, strive to be able to stand by his side in the future, even if it becomes an assistant who can help. It is also a good thing. An honor." When the paddling trio changed their group name to an inspirational trio, something changed in their hearts. At least for Tang Heibo, it is not an easy task to be admitted to graduate students at a top university. And among so many students, it is even more difficult to be outstanding. Originally, Tang Heibo was going to lie flat. After the 3 years as a graduate student, he would try to see if he could take the public exam until he joined senior brother Su's project. That was the first time he really felt the charm of scientific research, so much so that he sighed in his heart, "Fuck, can people who do scientific research actually be so handsome?" Ko Guang? What's that? A real tough guy will definitely choose scientific research. Blaster guns, subverting the concept of traditional firearms, appear in real life. How handsome are you on a horse? As long as you have one, you will always be the most handsome guy on this street. Not to mention that if mechas and battleships can be built, to be honest, which man can refuse these? Since then, this idea has firmly penetrated into Tang Heibo's heart. Then, he goes to the library every day. The longer the time, the more he can feel the charm of learning, addicted to it, unable to extricate himself. Just like falling in love, men and women will always perform some unspeakable actions. But every time Tang Heibo chose the seed he used before, because that time, Xu Teng was sitting next to him. "Hey, I miss senior brother Xu so much when he wasn't around. Now that he's back, I don't dare to take the initiative to contact him, for fear of disturbing him. It can only be a little closer to the seat that senior brother Xu used to do. I hope I can squat to senior brother Xu at some point." Forget it, I don't dare to expect too much. But, again, I really want to participate in senior brother Su's scientific research project again. Just when Tang Heibo was thinking about it, a manager came over with a pile of books. "I know this person, he was the manager who helped senior brother Xu collect books last time." Chapter 88. Tang Heibo's head turned quickly, judging from the management staff's walking route. They came this way. He turned his head and glanced at the surrounding seats. The position next to me was optimal, both in terms of light and the comfort of the chair. Holding so many books. So, just when Tang Heibo turned his head to look, a familiar figure suddenly walked in. "Senior brother Xu." He stood up excitedly and quickly waved. "Senior brother Xu." Xu Teng was stunned for a moment. This little fat man was very familiar. Then I remembered who it was. The assistant that senior brother Yun brought over. Tang Heibo. Because the sound was too loud, people around him cast dissatisfied eyes. "Hey, sorry for disturbing everyone." Tang Heibo quickly apologized. The little fat man has an ordinary appearance and likes to be surprised. Although the man walking across is a bit handsome, but scientific research has always been inversely proportional to appearance. The more handsome people are, the less scientific research level they are. The people around them immediately lowered their heads. The manager holding a pile of books was looking back at Xu Teng, asking him what he meant and where to put the books. "If you meet an acquaintance, then stand beside Tang Heibo." Point to the empty space. After some packing, Xu Teng just sat down. Tang Heibo, who was next to him, lowered his voice and said, "Senior brother Xu, have you finished the project last time?" After signing the confidentiality agreement, even if the trio disbanded on the spot, he was still curious about the progress of the experiment. "Well, it's done." "Hey, it's still done?" Tang Heibo felt a little lost. Back then, in the laboratory, the simple version of the blaster could subvert his cognition. The full version later, I'm afraid it's not one shot in one pit. He still remembered that the blaster had 5 energy scales, and the simplified version had the first energy scale. He really wanted to know how powerful the 5th energy scale was. That, just when Tang Heibo wanted to continue his questioning, he suddenly noticed the book Xu Teng pulled out of the stack. "New concept physics tutorial, quantum physics. What does it mean?" I remember blasters are hot weapons. Am I blindfolded? There is a big difference between the equipment of thermal weapons and new concept physics tutorial, quantum physics. After rubbing my eyes, I found that everything was right. Then he looked at the pile of books again. Optics tutorial, 4th edition, university physics, 3rd edition, electromagnetism, dazzling, like a hodgepodge of, why read so many textbooks, and many more. Teng Hebo reacted. And the textbooks included all the basic courses of physics majors. Ward OMG, the last time I saw senior brother Xu, it wasn't so outrageous, but after completing the blaster project this time, senior brother Xu seems to have gone to higher school for further studies, all courses taken together. Is this really something people can do? Xu Teng turned to look at Teng Hebo. Isn't this guy trying to tell me something? Why are not you talking? Seeing Xu Teng's gaze, Teng Hebo swallowed hard. Senior brother Xu, are these all what you need to learn during this time? Wonder hair. Ordinary people have a headache when faced with a subspecialty of physics subordinates, but senior brother Xu is good, and we all start to learn together at this moment. Xu Teng faintly passed a sentence. Accurately speaking, in this month, Teng Hebo, crit. Serious injury. No, it can't be a world where I'm the only one injured. Teng Hebo opened the group message of the inspirational trio. I saw senior brother Xu, real. The liar is my son. Nizzy, how can you talk to your father like this? After posting, Teng Hebo sent the photo to the past clear contours, side face burst table. It was clearly senior brother Xu, but the other two had some doubts in their hearts. Why did they seem more handsome after this period of time passed? Fuck, it's really senior brother Xu. I seem to find that senior brother Xu is a little more handsome. Is it my illusion? That's right. Senior brother Xu is a little more handsome, Teng Hebo complained in his heart. Because you were not there. If you just sit in my seat, you will find that my brother is more handsome, but I'm not trying to talk to you about this right now. Teng Hebo typed. Look at what book brother Xu is reading. He deliberately picked a good angle, so that he could see all the books in it. 3 seconds later, I was shocked. I just noticed that brother Xu was reading a basic course for all majors in college physics. I sent it to my friends and they said he was posing for a photo. If it was someone else, I would think so too. But you must know that this is senior brother Xu, so, judging from the results of the photos, does brother Xu really want to learn these? It was not until this time that Teng Hebo leisurely typed, yes, exactly 1 month, email protected, %, sorry, my fingers suddenly went crazy and I didn't control it. Sorry, my cat suddenly jumped on the keyboard. Teng Hebo, who peeped at the screen, expressed his satisfaction. Sure enough, the great man was right. Pain is to be shared. Once you share, it's find silent in the ocean of knowledge. Xu Teng has no sense of the surrounding environment at all, like a sponge madly absorbing the knowledge in the textbook. Until now, Xu Teng didn't know how effective the energy fluid was. The concentration increases exponentially, and the jerky and difficult formulas are understood very quickly. Even after reading it several times, the formula can be deduced again, and the computing power of the brain has also been strengthened, and a lot of data can be calculated in the heart. The textbook was flipped page by page, and Teng Hebo next to him was going to be dumbfounded. Is college physics really that easy? After Xu Teng pulled out a new book, Teng Hebo, who couldn't help but be curious, stepped forward and opened it. Complicated formulas, jerky theorems, the words in the textbook feel very wrong. Yes, the familiar taste. The simple is not the textbook, the strong is senior brother Xu. When Xu Teng touched the side again, he realized that he had finished reading the textbook. I looked up and looked at the clock next to me. It's 9 o'clock in the evening. Before I knew it, more than 5 hours had passed. I'm a little hungry. Turning his head, he saw that Teng Hebo was looking at him with a face full of dementia, like Abba, what's wrong with you? Oh. I'm fine. Senior brother Xu finished reading. Well, I'm going to dinner, together. Teng Hebo, who was doubting his life, shook his head. Have a meal? I'm sorry, I'm really not interested. I still have to ask my parents if I'm really a waste. When Xu Teng was eating in the cafeteria, the phone rang. Junior brother Xu, all the timetables have been prepared for you. You can go to class tomorrow. Click on the class schedule to see that it is densely packed. 30 days without a day off. After drinking a mouthful of hot porridge, Xu Teng felt warm in his heart. Senior brother Yun is really reliable with so many courses out. Senior brother Yun and those professors must be exhausted. Thank you, senior brother Yun. Senior brother Yun is really troublesome, and I apologize to those professors on my behalf. Haha. Okay. When Yun Xing raised his head and passed junior brother Xu's thoughts to them, the professor sitting in the room said quickly, Xiao Su is really polite. That's right. Chen Duowen has been showing off in front of me today that he has taught Xu Teng a lesson. Haha, I didn't expect it. I got it right away. With Xiao Su, there will be successors in future scientific research. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 89. Is he really coming tomorrow? All students in the Faculty of Physics received an emergency notice that evening. Due to temporary special circumstances, all students in the School of Physics will change their courses within the next month. The changed course schedule has been sent to the class committees. Please communicate the situation in time. As soon as the news came out, the group exploded. I'm going. I was still eating late night snacks and playing games when my roommate informed me that the class schedule was changed. I was laughing at him at that time. Why is he so easy to be deceived? Me too. I was kissing my partner, crossed out, and when I was eating, I heard the phone vibrate constantly. Nima's upstairs. You are also showing it. The anger from the single dog forked him out and roasted him. I thought it was a liar who got into the group, but was blinded by the red-headed document and the red seal. I never imagined that my class schedule would jump so much like the dynamic graph of the stock market. Just as everyone was teasing each other, one sentence caught everyone's attention. Fuck. I just collected all the timetables of the School of Physics. Guess what I found? Come on, I hate half-talking people in my life. I will definitely see me collect all 7 and summon the dragon. No, I actually found out that all the timetables in the School of Physics are full this month. Yes, you heard it right. 2 days on weekends are also full. No, absolutely impossible. Someone came out on the spot. I have been born for more than 20 years. What have I not seen? Do you think professors don't need free time? Do you think they don't need to publish papers? You don't really think that some professors really just teach? Everyone expressed disbelief. When there were curious people, they really went to collect the timetable after matching again. His eyes stared like copper bells. The hands began to type quickly. Guys, I'm riding a horse. I can't believe this is true. But I have to tell you one thing, and that is the truth. Immediately after, a picture was uploaded at the beginning. It was the adjusted schedule of the subordinate majors of the School of Physics. At the end, there was a large Excel sheet. All the schedules were calculated with formulas. The above shows that starting from today, for a month, all physics courses are completed. Every day was lined up. The most outrageous thing is that all the pictures are clear and unmarked, and you can clearly zoom in to see all the details. Unconvinced sprayers can't find the details that can be sprayed even if they want to spray. There was silence in the group for a few seconds, and everyone was downloading photos to watch. Then, it boils. I really did. It's the first time I've seen such a class arrangement. This ride has never happened since the establishment of Huaking School. Oh, yes, baby, I know you're watching. It's my fault for swearing. Blame me. I can't hold back. Why are you a bitch again? Kick him out. Click in and take a look. The other party is an administrator. You do not have this permission. Gan. Just then, a message popped out. I'll take a guess. You said it might be because of someone like this. For example, the person's name is Xu Teng. When everyone was screaming, a sentence analyzing the reason suddenly came out, which was very eye-catching. Xu Teng. Who is Xu Teng? Oh, remember, that Xu Teng who never showed up. No, I heard that he never went to class. Yes. Even the laboratory has never seen such a person. How could such a major event suddenly have something to do with him? And those of Professor Chen's students who were peeping at the screen suddenly froze in their hearts. Although, this analysis seems to be nonsense, but there is some truth to it. Professor Chen, who never accepted other students, is no exception today. Not only that, all the attention is on him, and an entire class today is dedicated to Xu Teng. Actually, I saw Xu Teng in the class today. When they saw this sentence, most people were stunned for a moment. What happened in the quantum physics class has not yet spread. Wait, is that the Xu Teng we were talking about? Yes, it's him. Someone immediately became interested. Tell me what happened today. I seem to have missed something incredible. Xu Teng came to our Professor Chen's class. Wait a minute, it's Professor Chen who can drive people out. I remember someone who went to a class before and was kicked out. The face of someone who was peeping at the screen was going to go black, which was a big thing in the School of Physics at the time. Most talked about it with great relish. That's right, Professor Chen who chased people away. But today Professor Chen not only didn't chase people away. When I came in, I was wearing the suit I wore when I won the Future Science Prize. The first sentence I said when I entered the door was, Xiao Su, you are here. I know someone's going to start bashing me, but you wait until I'm done. Someone will type out and delete everything that is about to be deleted. Well, I'll see how long you can make it up. It didn't take long for Professor Chen to start his class, but he was taking the most basic quantum mechanics class. Yes, it was the most basic course. We didn't know what Professor Chen meant at the beginning. It wasn't until more than an hour later that Professor Chen started to ask Xu Teng questions and gave Xu Teng a question on the blackboard. We didn't know that Professor Chen actually started the class for Xu Teng alone. You heard that right, that is to teach him a lesson alone. The most outrageous part is not here, but the latter part. Xu Teng, who only listened to the class for more than an hour, started to do the quiz. Yes, he did the quiz on the spot. Do your own question. You can be a little more outrageous. Someone can't stand it anymore, so a picture was uploaded immediately. A man was answering a question on the blackboard, and Professor Chen was watching Pen Fun Library. That's what happened on the scene. One would think, oops, what can Xu Teng write after listening to the class for just over an hour, and the result is absolutely wrong. We thought so, too, until another picture was uploaded. Professor Chen was smiling and patting Xu Teng's shoulder. Everyone knows that Professor Chen is a serious old man in general. You won't laugh, unless you're very happy for him. There's nothing to be happy about except academically troll, deleted all the words, and silently put down the phone because this person prejudged all my prejudgments, with reason and evidence, and the pictures are clear, can't spray at all. All majors in the School of Physics were stunned. This is quantum mechanics, a very young professional. A particularly unreasonable one, but there is a person named Xu Teng, who just took 1.5 hours of class time and overwhelmed all the basic exercises and let the serious Professor Chen pat his shoulders and praise. Is this really the same age as us? So these courses are really adjusted for him? Now, are you mortals in the School of Physics ready for genius? Tomorrow is it really coming? Chapter 90. This familiar prelude is coming. Jingle bell. Xu Teng stretched out his hands from the bed and turned off the bell. Compared with other people, Xu Teng's life is quite monotonous. Either you are doing a scientific research project, or you are about to do a scientific research project without other recreational activities. The work and rest time will naturally be a lot more regular. Early to bed, early to rise. As you ask, isn't this kind of life very monotonous? Sorry, the joy after the completion of the lightsaber and blaster gun projects is far from the thrill of winning the game. After washing up, he flipped through the messages on his phone. Well, today is optics, theoretical physics, and classical mechanics. If others saw that row of densely packed courses, they would have complained a long time ago, but Xu Teng couldn't. He straightened his face in the mirror and said, it's only 29 days, so I can't waste time. After breakfast, Xu Teng hurried to the classroom. The weather in Kyoto in November has turned a lot colder, and it is really freezing. Indistinctly seemed to hear the voice talking about himself. Hey, you said that Xu Teng will go to the classroom of the School of Physics today, should be. Haven't you seen the discussion in the group? After all, some people said that they saw him in the quantum mechanics class yesterday. I still don't believe it. How could the school modify the curriculum because of a certain person? It's crazy. Che, you like bars, so big red-headed announcement file, can't you see it? Just when someone was arguing with each other, a discordant voice came out. Hey, that guy is so handsome. What are you doing on a horse? Why are people looking at handsome guys all the time? Is this the time to look at handsome guys? The man turned his head and was stunned for a moment. He's really handsome, but don't you think that person seems to be Xu Teng? At this time, someone recalled it, and from the back of that photo, it really looked like it. So, really for Xu Teng, then today is too exciting. Because Xu Teng has never been a bad scholar. If there is a scholar who is not convinced and wants to compete with him, hiss, wouldn't that be wonderful? After I figured this out, I couldn't see Xu Teng's back. When I looked up, several people looked at each other and said in unison, go, let's go to class. Not all physics colleges like Professor Chen. The professors are not allowed to take classes, especially all the class schedules of the School of Physics have been revised that night, so today's first class is destined to be extremely popular. Everyone is wondering, is it really because Xu Teng changed the class schedule? Can someone really answer all the quantum physics basic questions given by Professor Chen correctly in more than an hour? Rongchen Building, Classroom 405. There is still some time before class. But Professor Liu Deming has already come here. It is very rare for a university professor to come to class early, especially Liu Deming, like Professor Chen yesterday, wore a formal suit. He was still pacing, occasionally raising his hand to look at the watch on his wrist, but the rare phenomenon today is far less than that, and includes other things. For example, the stage classrooms with 200 or 300 people are already full. Students keep coming here. I'm going, why are there so many people today? Tisk tisk tisk. How come? I also saw other professionals. The most bizarre thing is not this, but the classroom is full. But there is no one in the front row of seats. The front row of seats is reserved by everyone by default just because it was reserved for the legendary Xu Teng who had come. Many people stared at Xu Teng's photo for 10 minutes last night just to remember what he looked like. You can recognize it immediately when you meet because it is not yet time for class. Everyone is discussing in private. If the rumored Xu Teng really came, you would say he is stronger or Li Yaosheng is stronger. Li Yaosheng is a recognized scholar in optical physics who have achieved good results at the undergraduate level. Others who enter Huaking's graduate school need to take the test, but he walked in directly. It's hard to say. If you only look at fame, it's naturally Li Yaosheng. But if you think about the meaning of the change in the class schedule, if this class Xu Teng really appears, someone began to add the following: it proves that the course was changed for Xu Teng. Even the government needs to change the course for Xu Teng. Then Li Yaosheng is a recommended graduate student. The last person added in time. Isn't that ordinary? But such a student. In the beginning, Li Yaosheng heard other people. It's more fun to discuss myself at the end. His face turned black. Nima, if you can't speak, don't speak. No one treats you as dumb. In fact, Li Yaosheng and Liu Zhesheng are different people. Liu Zhesheng has a bad attitude because he has been very smooth since he was a child, and is a typical child of someone else's family. When I hear that someone is better than me, I feel jealous. And Li Yaosheng turned from a scumbag to a scholar step by step, and his rich life experience made him admire the real powerhouse. He also wanted to see what kind of genius Xu Teng was, who never appeared on the list, didn't take classes, but was never remembered. Boom! Just then, the door was pushed open. The next moment, the originally noisy classroom instantly quieted down, and everyone turned to look at the man who came in this perfect profile, angular facial features. That's right, it's Xu Teng. And Xu Teng, who stepped into the classroom, was a little stunned. What's the situation? Why are so many people looking at themselves? And his eyes were bright, with a little anticipation in his eyes. Yeah, Xiao Su, you're here. Professor Liu Deming reacted instantly and greeted enthusiastically. Everyone has seen Xu Teng's photos, and after seeing the real person with his own eyes, Professor Liu was secretly surprised. Why do some people still have so much hair after graduate school? Why do some people have such a high level of scientific research and are so handsome? Simply a natural talent for being handsome. Seeing Professor Liu approaching enthusiastically, Xu Teng hesitated and asked, "Am I late?" The class schedule has the professor's name, and Xu Teng knows the professor's name. Hey, what did Xiao Su say? You're not too late. Professor Liu pointed to the time on his watch. There's still 10 minutes to go before class. We all came early. Xu Teng looked at it and saw that it was indeed 10 minutes away from class, but the atmosphere at the scene suddenly became weird for some reason. Especially Liu Zhesheng, who secretly watched the fun, originally hoped to see Xu Teng lose face, but from the perspective of Professor Liu's enthusiasm, it is impossible to see it in this life. Even if Xu Teng really can't solve the problem, does it matter? It doesn't matter. Dear Professor Liu will help you out. Come again. The fear of quantum mechanics being dominated is about to reappear. This familiar prelude. Chapter 91, Ein Energy Shield. If it is normal, there will be no class 10 minutes earlier, but this time, there is no need to delay anymore. When the main boss Xu Teng is here, Xiao Su, you can sit at the front. Turning his head, Xu Teng looked at the rows of seats in front of him and couldn't help sighing. Being watched by so many people is a very stressful thing for him. As Xu Teng took his seat, Professor Liu sorted out his suit and said slowly, "Then, let's start the class now." Actually, optics is a relatively easy subject to learn in college physics classification, because it doesn't require too many calculations. Even if you can memorize formulas and conclusions, you can continue to learn. After a pause, he added, "But optics is a relatively difficult subject to learn, because abstract understanding is often required, and in optics, you can learn well by remembering 6 major points: waveability, interference, diffraction, polarization, quantum nature, geometric optics and modern optics, and one of the most important experiments in the interference of light is Young's double-slit experiment. These are the most basic, All the students present also began to understand that the original course was really changed because of Xu Teng. All the professors were probably invited to teach Xu Teng. In other people's minds, the basics are just a refresher, but for Xu Teng, he suddenly felt something at that moment. Think of the energy beam refracted in the blaster crystal prism, the bound particles in the lightsaber. Acquired energy points. 1. Hearing the sudden system prompt sound, Xu Teng was stunned. Before, he was worried about how to obtain energy points, but he didn't expect this to work. Badge. The achievement of knowledge integration has been achieved. Knowledge fusion leads to achievement. It seems that all his analysis was correct before the drawings released by the Black Technology System have already hinted, and I hope he will be an all-round scientific researcher. But why are these? Is it related to the energy point? It seems that getting more energy points early in awakening the Black Technology System is an urgent matter, because Xu Teng always felt that there were some secrets behind this. As a result, Xu Teng's attention was even more concentrated. All the students around were stunned. The hands that never stopped taking notes, the sound of the book constantly turning pages. Someone was a little sour at first. Cut. Not just pretending. If it's just watching this, so can I? That's right. I heard that Liu Zheng of quantum physics is also a proper scholar. I didn't give him a chance to play yesterday, otherwise there would be nothing like Xu Teng. Liu Zheng was blushing next to him, and kept saying in his heart, "Can you shut up?" In the end, the man didn't intend to finish it like this. He turned around and said to him, "Say something." Xu Teng is just like that. Everyone around looked at them, and Liu Zheng said angrily, "Go away." On the other hand, Li Yaosheng also had questions in his heart. Can he really keep up? Although the optics are simple, it is only relatively speaking. In the Yang-style double-slit experiment, there is one formula for the bright fringes and another formula for the dark fringes. The difference in the light and dark fringe formula is, bright fringes are 2K, while dark fringes are 2K plus 1. That's right, there is an extra 1 difference. The formulas with the same properties are often just a little bit worse. It is not difficult to memorize alone, but if dozens of formulas are all mixed together, remember that it is quite a test of brain power, especially from the beginning to the present. Xu Teng has never turned back. The book snapped after wiping the blackboard. Professor Liu tightened his suit and said, "Xiao Su, I'll check your understanding of the knowledge point now." "No problem." "What the hell? Is Professor Liu also so humble?" The other students were shocked, but in Liu Deming's eyes, this is not a big deal, because scientific research puts the best first. And he sees Xu Teng as someone whose status is not much worse than him. "My pleasure." "Okay, then I'll start." Turning around, Liu Deming started writing on the blackboard. 2 geometrically identical wedge tips, one is formed by glass and air, and the other is formed by air sandwiched in glass. When they are respectively vertically irradiated with the same monochromatic light, the interference fringes that are widely spaced are. One topic after another was written down on the blackboard. All the students watching fell silent. What's happening now is the same as what Professor Chen heard about last night, and it doesn't save face. It all these topics are based on 1,000,000 points of development anyway. Some scumbags really don't understand. That's right, I know all the words on the title, and they are abba when combined together. Li Yaosheng pondered, is he really going to go up? This is not a joke. The book can only be turned forward, did not turn back. When they were all thinking, Xu Teng got up. This figure restrained everyone's eyes. First question, write down the answer with 2 strokes. The air splits and the glass interlayer have a large distance between them. Completely correct. Second question, the third way. Everyone was stunned by Xu Teng's performance on the spot, as if he had not thought or hesitated. Whoa, someone is counting paper. Quick, you count the third question, I count the fourth question. Gan, how did he write the sixth question? When more people joined the team's quick calculation, they finally caught up with Xu Teng's calculation speed. The results are communicated one by one. The second question is correct. The third question is correct. All are correct. Everyone looked up at each other blankly. We seem to have witnessed something incredible. Haha. Okay, Xiao Su is really a genius, Professor Liu said secretly in his heart, and swore that this was the happiest day of his life. Ding ding ding. The get out of class bell rings. Xiao Su, then I won't delay your next class. Okay, I'm going to trouble Professor Liu during this time. Where? No trouble at all. Liu Deming walked away with a happy tune after watching Xu Teng leave. Everyone reacted. Hurry up, follow him. The next class will start immediately. Chong Chong, slow down and even the seat will be gone. So on this day, Huking had a situation that had never happened before. The School of Physics, and even students of other majors, followed one person to the classroom. Xu Teng stopped. They stopped. Xu Teng goes. They go in a full day of classes. Everyone felt the oppressive force from the genius. It turned out that the real genius is like this, and this day is just the beginning. In the next month, everyone went from doubt, shock, impossibility to doubt about life, and finally numbness. On the last day of the course, all the professors gathered. Xiao Su, you have finished all the basic courses. According to your request, starting today, don't come back to class tomorrow. This time has really troubled the professors. It's not troublesome, it's just that those students will need time to adjust their mentality. At the moment when he said goodbye to the professors and returned to the dormitory, the long-lost system sound finally came. Ding. New blueprint unlocked. Ion Energy Shield. Chapter 92. What are your requirements? Ionic Energy Shield? With curiosity, Xu Teng scrolled down to read the introduction of the shield. Ion Energy Shield. The carrier is a watch, which can be worn on the wrist at ordinary times. When not fighting, the shield enters a charged state. When activated, it immediately forms an energy shield that can block any form of attack. Status: when activated, the energy of the shield will be lost every time an attack is resisted, and the status of the shield percentage can be viewed in real time at the top left. When it shows 0, it breaks immediately and enters a new charging state. If the resisted attack exceeds the limit of the shield, the Ion Energy Shield will be broken instantly. These introductions above are the use and general status of the Ion Energy Shield. Today's mainstream armors are basically explosion-proof shields, bulletproof vests and the like. Explosion-proof shields are mainly used to maintain public security body armor, mostly in the face of terrorist attacks and military activities, but even with these, it is not completely protected against attacks. Not to mention the explosion-proof shield. The material of the bulletproof vest cannot prevent all firearms and bullets in the face of pistol bullets such as the Desert Eagle. Shooting at a long distance can prevent it, but in the face of rifles, sniping, and even Gatling's chug, under continuous shooting, it is basically impossible to survive. But, in the introduction to the Ion Energy Shield given by Black Technology, as long as the shield does not explode, it is absolutely safe. The introduction of other products is absolutely safe, and maybe parallel imports. The introduction of the system cannot be wrong. Xu Teng made up his mind about the situation. In the battlefield, look, someone is coming and hiding me hard. Choo choo choo, bang bang bang. After a burst of intense output, the smoke dissipated and the person was intact. At this time, the people on the opposite side were all stupid, and the captain hurriedly shouted, "Brothers, run quickly. There is a hang on the opposite side. It really can't be beaten. Whoever loves it will come." It's exciting to think about it in this comparison. What are explosion-proof shields and bulletproof vests? The Ion Energy Shield is the future of the future battlefield. Xu Teng scrolls down and has yet to see any introductions related to technology. Sure enough, the next one is Technical Core. Energy Shield is an advanced defense technology that applies a charged particle field covering the surface of an object. Surface attack effects, from real projectiles to directed energy flow. Drawings: incomplete energy, missing. Looking down, Xu Teng frowned slightly because compared to the previous two, the energy shield this time is very different. Although, the Black Technology does unlock the blueprints, but only a large part is unlocked, such as the general shape of the shield, the state of the charged particles running on the surface of the shield, for the deflection of the charged particles to attack, the charging when it is not activated, and how to display the status of the shield in real time. These are not shown in the drawings. The more important point is not here, but the lack of energy. That's right. The Black Technology system does not provide the blueprint for the energy required by the Ion Shield. Energy has always been the most basic and most important. So far, the Ion Shield has not appeared, and energy is also the main reason. It seems that with a continuous unlocking of blueprints, related technical blueprints will also be missing. Probably this is why the system is implying that I have become an all-around scientific researcher. I just don't know if this is intentional by the system, or if the drawings in it were originally missing. So, no matter how powerful the system's introduction to the Ion Energy Shield is, the first step is to solve the lack of energy first. Solar energy, wind energy, these are not on the scope of consideration. Xu Teng, who was in deep thought, suddenly lit up. He had swept all the basic knowledge of physics in this month. If there is one energy source that can be considered, it must be the tokamak device. A tokamak is a ring-shaped container that uses magnetic confinement to achieve controlled nuclear fusion. Roughly introduced, at the center of the tokamak is a ring-shaped vacuum chamber with coils wound around it. When electrified, a huge helical magnetic field is generated inside the tokamak. which heats the plasma to very high temperature to achieve the purpose of nuclear fusion. Other energy sources are not only slow, but also less powerful. But when it comes to nuclear fusion, it is not only fast, but also powerful. Historically, there was a thing called a little boy that changed the course of war. The representative weapon of nuclear fusion, the hydrogen bomb, is similar to the power of the little boy, or even slightly stronger. Figure this out. Xu Teng sees lit up. It looks like I'm going to find senior brother Yun again to fill out the application form. At this time, Yunqing was constantly looking at his mobile phone. Every once in a while he had already heard from the professor that Su Shidi had finished all the basic courses of the physics major. In fact, at that moment, his eyes were a little demented, and he muttered, "I thought that junior brother Su would be a little strong, but I never thought that he would be so strong." A month later, all the professors in the School of Physics gave Xu Teng the same final evaluation. If Xiao Su is given a chance, he will definitely become a leader in opening up a new era of scientific research in the future. Moreover, the time required will not be very long. Just when Yunqing was about to sigh, the painting style of all the professors became a little strange. Now it seems that it is an honor to be Xiao Su's teacher for a period of time, that's for sure. Maybe the name of Xiao Su will be mentioned in the history of physics in the future, and the last one will be added. I studied in Huaking Institute of Physics for a month, and the names of the teachers are. Haha, think about it, it's fun. That's right, that's what I thought at the time. Maybe I can get some fame in the future. For the professors, it is a very happy thing to be able to add their own name to the corner of the history of physics. So some people started to get complacent. No, in this room, there really isn't anyone who hasn't become Xiao Su's teacher. Yunqing, who had a lemon in his heart, suddenly realized that he seemed to be connoted. He raised his head and looked at the professors around him with a cold look. Pen Fun Library. The cheerful atmosphere suddenly quieted down, and everyone was silent for a few seconds. Chen Duowen, I suddenly remembered, just now my wife told me to go home, so I left first. Liu Deming, my grandson is crying at home, I have to go home quickly. Everyone slept very fast when the office door hadn't closed completely. Yunqing heard their uncontrollable laughter in the corridor again. Yunqing, damn it, you old men are bullying too much. Buzzing. The phone rang, and Yunqing didn't want to deal with it because he was a little annoyed. His eyes caught a glimpse of the message from junior brother Su, who had been waiting for news, so he turned on the phone immediately, and his hands jumped information back in seconds. Junior brother Su, if you have any requests, just give them your orders. Chapter 93 New Projects. If it was facing other people, Yunqing would naturally not say such words. After all, he is also the dean of Huaking and a student of academician Su Wei, but he is facing Xu Teng, who has built lightsabers and blasters and is on the road to all-round scientific research. What? You said I was in a bad mood just now. No, the layout is small. That's because junior brother Su didn't contact me, and I was in a bad mood. Although senior brother Yun's words were a bit strange, Xu Teng didn't bother anymore. I'm ready to start a new project, this time with new materials. New project? Yunqing was stunned. Is it so fast? It's not that I just finished my last physics class today, and the professor showing off in front of me hasn't gone far. Is it true that someone can have the ability to carry out scientific research projects immediately after learning knowledge? Woohoo! If only I was as strong as junior brother Su back then, I wouldn't be reduced to Huaking to be the dean. Okay, what materials does junior brother Su need? You said, I will write the application form for this project. If I did not remember wrong, junior brother Su has studied optics, quantum physics, nuclear physics, theoretical mechanics, based on the lightsaber and blaster project. I'll take a wild guess. Just thinking of this, Xu Teng's message came over. Let's prepare the materials for nuclear fusion first. Oh, it's nuclear fusion. Wait, Yunqing felt that his eyes were blurry and he read a typo. Rubbing his eyes, he took a closer look. That's right, it's nuclear fusion. Wonder hair. Yunqing found out that he was still not bold enough. Initial speculation thought it was some small project research such as the surface atomic structure, electronic structure and surface vibration of theoretical physics, such as optical suspended particle light scattering detection technology, laser interference detection technology. But what did our dear junior brother Su mention when he came up? Nuclear fusion. Good guy. This is the absolute hottest in physics research right now because nuclear energy is not only clean energy, but also provides enormous energy. The nuclear fusion reaction takes place all the time inside the sun, which is also the reason why after so many light years, the residual light energy can still provide for the growth of all things. To this end, it has always been the direction of efforts to achieve absolutely controllable nuclear fusion in the future. Wait. It's really just following the professor. Is it possible to learn the basics for a month? Yuncheng was a little short of breath because of excitement. The next second, I doubted my life again. Obviously I am not a scientific researcher, but every second I interact with junior brother Xu, I begin to doubt life. Okay, Yuncheng used his hands tremblingly to type. So, I can ask, what is junior brother Xu's project this time? He really can't think of anything that needs nuclear fusion to provide energy. Ionic energy shield. Ionic energy shield. Not long after, a document was sent. The material application form is required to provide a project description with Xu Teng's current status. Even a blank project description can apply for materials. But as long as it is related to scientific research, Xu Teng treats it carefully. Every time I write the project description carefully. Item: Ion energy shield. The following is a description of the status of the shield. Ion energy shield. The carrier is a watch, which can be worn on the wrist at ordinary times. When not fighting, the shield enters a charged state. When activated, it immediately forms an energy shield that can block any form of attack. Status: when activated, the energy of the shield will be lost every time an attack is resisted, and the status of the shield percentage can be viewed in real time at the top left. When it shows 0, it breaks immediately and enters a new charging state. If the resisted attack exceeds the limit of the shield, the ion energy shield will be broken instantly. After reading the paragraphs, Yuncheng's breathing became heavy. Today's peace is short-lived and partial. Overseas wars often occur, and conflicts often occur within the border area, and soldiers are sacrificed from time to time for them. Armor will be a very important thing. Explosion-proof shield. Body armor. It can only resist part of the damage and is relatively bulky, but the ion energy shield is different. It is like the carrier of a watch and is easy to wear. The main point is that the degree of protection is absolutely sufficient. It was the first time he had seen such a hardcore shield. Technical core. Energy shield is an advanced defense technology that applies a charged particle field covering the surface of an object. It can deflect the impact of attacks on the surface of an object, from real projectiles to directional energy flow. What is this horse riding? A field of charged particles covers the surface, passing through them to deflect for surface attack. Why do I know every word, but I don't know the combination? But it doesn't matter. None of this stops me from being shocked. Sure enough, just like the previous projects, through the hands of junior brother Xu, there is nothing simple. Today's lightsabers, although they can be produced, are inefficient, and only one can be produced a month. The blaster gun has not fully mastered the technology and is still in the process of running enough. The ion energy shield can be made into real objects. And it is definitely another object sought after by soldiers, especially for soldiers in overseas peace organizations and soldiers guarding the border. Every shield is something that can protect life. You said blast shield, body armor. I'm sorry, that's a product we've eliminated, and we're only selling it to you. Sly JPG, junior brother Xu, I'll write a material application form right away. Are you going to start the experiment tomorrow? Well, tomorrow. I'm too tired today, I need to rest. After a month of super explosive courses, and finishing the drawings released by the system just now, Xu Teng's mental power has reached the point of overdraft. Desperately need to rest, to refresh. Junior brother Xu has worked hard. Take good care of your body. Where? I also trouble senior brother Yun. No trouble, no trouble. Just after chatting with Xu Teng, Yuncheng pressed the teacher's phone number. Tremblingly beep. Before he finished beeping, the phone was connected by Su Wei. If you have something to say, I'm busy. There was no echo from the receiver, only the sound of gasping for breath. What's the meaning? Running late at night. Just when Su Wei was about to hang up the phone, Yuncheng's trembling voice came. Teacher, Su Junior and brother are going to start a new project. Su Wei's first reaction was, so fast, because he remembered, Xu Teng's request was to study the basic course of physics for 1 month. Although, he is not clear why the request must be a month, but he remembered that today was the last day of the month. Just finished the basic course and want to start a project. Wouldn't it be a basic project? No. The basic project. Yinsen will not be out of breath so fast, is it? When his eyes lit up, Su Wei also began to pant and said, You, tell me, what project is it? Chapter 94. Formal entry into research. Damn, don't hang on to other people's tastes, say it quickly. Junior brother Xu, and I applied for nuclear fusion materials. Nuclear fusion. Su Wei was stunned for a moment, then he took a deep breath. Although, I do applied mathematics, but that doesn't prevent me from knowing that this research direction is pretty awesome. Wait, didn't he only take the most basic physics courses this month? Gan, is this the crushing force of genius? Everyone learns basic things, which still doesn't hinder the fact that I am better than you. I see, Xu Wei replied tremblingly. If other people told him, learned the basics to do this kind of thing, he would think that someone was joking, but if it was Xu Teng, maybe the popular scientific research project could really be solved. Teacher, that's not the point, not the point. You have something to say, can't you finish it all at once? Inadvertently, Xu Wei also began to tremble. The point is, what, teacher? I just sent you a document. Before Yun Sheng's words were finished, Xu Wei hung up with excitement. I opened the document with trembling hands. Item, Ion Energy Shield, Ionic Energy Shield. So, nuclear fusion is just a side project, not the object of research. Then look down. Technical Core, Energy Shield is an advanced defense technology that applies a charged particle field covering the surface of an object. It can deflect the impact of attacks on the surface of an object, from real projectiles to directional energy flow. What is this? Xu Wei was stunned. Li Rongsheng is right. Even though Xu Wei is an academician, as Xu Teng's nominal teacher, he really does not understand the technical terms of Xu Teng project and a series of schematic diagrams. But what is this? Students should be better than teachers, righteous JPG, turn out to be, to study nuclear fusion, just to solve the energy problem of the shield. And this ion energy shield is amazing, deflects the direction of the attack. So, as long as the shield's resistance value is full, others will never be able to hit me. Haha. Really great. As expected of my student, Xu Wei immediately regained his spirits and began to fill in the material application form directly. After half an hour, start uploading materials through a special channel, and after instructing staff, we must deliver the fusion materials to the designated location overnight. Just when Xu Wei finished everything and was about to go to sleep, he suddenly realized something. Oh, no, there's still something to do. Picking up the phone, he took a picture of the beginning of the project file and sent it to Li Rongsheng. My student recently applied for a new project. By the way, I heard that I want to study the issue of nuclear fusion. By the way, who knows that the other party will reply in seconds? Although it was only 3 question marks, Xu Wei could smell a strong feeling of jealousy from behind. As a teacher, I can only help here. It's cold and I'm sleeping. Shameless thief, you can easily go to sleep, but what about me? How can I fall asleep at my age? That night, another truck drove into the Huaking campus. Hey, look, the truck is here again. Calm down. As a student of the School of Physics, can you not be so ignorant? This month, if students in any major have been hit the hardest, it's definitely the students in the School of Physics. Xu Teng is no longer a simple name. There are even scumbags who call Xu Teng Xu Shen in private, and are going to worship him before the exam site at Love Hotel off campus. Wow, look, I just saw a lot of trucks entering the campus. The boyfriend lying on the bed was unmoved and even looked proud. Let me tell you, this is a reserved project in Huaking. As a student of the School of Physics, my mood has long been calm. I heard that there has been a sensation in your School of Physics recently, and the mentality of all majors has collapsed. That's it, let me tell you. Forget it, you come up first and move by yourself. Hate. The next day, all the students in the School of Physics discovered a strange phenomenon. The timetable has returned to normal. The most critical point is that all the people who went to the physics majors found that Xu Teng was gone. I heard that Xu Shen is so handsome. I came here to skip class to see him, but he actually disappeared. Yeah, I'm so sad too. At this time, Xu Teng was already standing in front of the laboratory where the blaster was made. Senior brother Yun, you came very early. Yun Sheng resisted the urge to yawn, smiled and said, Junior brother Xu, the required materials are ready. Then he turned around and let Tang Heibo standing behind him. This is the assistant I found for junior brother, Tang. Heibo smiled shyly. Senior brother Xu, good morning. At 5 o'clock this morning, Yun Sheng made 3 calls to the 3 people who had been assistants to Xu Teng before. Junior brother Xu, compared to the last experiment, this experiment does not require so many assistants. I had a hunch that only one would do, and as long as whoever answered the phone, it would be him. As a result, the 2 people in front did not get through, but Tang Heibo answered the phone as soon as it rang. Hey, who is it? I'm Yun Sheng. You worked as an assistant at junior brother Xu before. I want to ask, do you still want to go? Brother Xu has started a new project again. I remember that yesterday was the last day of the basic physics class. During this time, everyone heard about Xu Teng's performance at Huaking Institute of Physics, so everyone will take a class when they have free time. No other meaning. Just want to see what kind of expert Xu Teng is with such a great reputation. Result. Everyone came in with a smile on their faces and went out with doubts about life only. Tang Heibo was crowded around the crowd and almost called out, "Look, the man on stage." I participated in the blaster experiment with him, but he was still flushed with excitement and said nothing because of the non-disclosure agreement. When he heard Yun Sheng's question, Tang Heibo almost jumped up with joy. "Brother, have you started the project again? Then I will definitely go." What is the meaning of Ko Gong? Scientific research is the most romantic future for real men. Hold on. Unexpectedly, he didn't hold back when he opened his mouth. Haha, Dean Yun, I'll come right away. Then, same NDA again, same lab. Xu Teng also recognized who he was, and responded with a smile. "See you again, welcome." Where, senior brother Xu is polite. Seeing this, Yun Sheng yuan directly and said, "Junior brother Xu. Then, I'll go first, so I won't bother you." "Well, goodbye senior brother." "It's hard work senior brother." He could also see that Yun Sheng probably hadn't slept all night. Haha, it's alright. It's good that the progress of junior brother Su's project is not delayed. Boom. As soon as the door opened, all the materials were presented in front of Xu Teng and Tang Heibo. Each material is also carefully labeled. Senior brother Yun, it's really reliable. Nuclear fusion, officially entered into research. Chapter 95, Junior brother, you really helped me. Nuclear fusion, also known as nuclear fusion, fusion reaction or thermonuclear reaction. The basic reaction processes, under certain conditions, such as ultra-high temperature and high pressure, two atomic nuclei can be attracted to each other and collide together, and the atomic nuclei will polymerize with each other to generate a new heavier atomic nucleus. According to Einstein's mass-energy equation E equals mc2, a large amount of energy will be released when a new nucleus is generated. At the same time, the raw materials for the nuclear reaction can be taken from water, and the reactants generated therein are less polluting. Therefore, compared with ordinary energy sources, nuclear fusion has great advantages. The disadvantage is that the requirements for response and technology are very high. A poorly handled, energy-producing laboratory can instantly become a disaster site. Tang Heibo looked at the materials in the laboratory and kept comforting himself in his heart. Steady, be sure. This is not a dream. I am indeed involved in a top-secret project. Yes, I have once again become senior brother Su's assistant. I must perform well. As a graduate student, who can become a participant in a top-secret project many times within a few months? No one can. Only me, licking everything to the end. Just when Tang Heibo was thinking about it, Xu Teng turned around and shouted, "Tang Heibo!" Hey, Tang Heibo, who had reacted, showed a shy smile. "Senior brother Xu, just call me junior brother Tang." Xu Teng was a little surprised by his enthusiasm, but he didn't take it to heart. He said, "Okay, junior brother Tang, help me find all the materials I will use next." Xu Teng handed out a piece of paper. Halley promised to complete the task. For the equipment construction, Xu Teng is still ready to come by himself. It's a little uneasy to leave it to the junior and senior brothers to do it. There are 3 generations of nuclear fusion reactions. Deuterium-tritium fusion can only be regarded as first-generation fusion. The advantage is that the fuel is cheap, and the disadvantage is that it has neutrons. The trouble with fusion neutrons is that they can react nuclearly with the walls of the reactor. It has to be replaced after a period of time, which is very expensive. It wasn't long before there was a second generation of fusion, the reaction of deuterium and helium-3. This reaction itself does not produce neutrons, but since there is deuterium in it, the deuterium-deuterium reaction also neutrons are produced, but in very, very small amounts compared with the first generation. There is an improvement in the first generation of fusion. The device must be placed in a remote place. Second generation fusion, the device can be placed in the center of a lively street. Not long after, there was a third generation of fusion. Helium-3 reacted with helium-3. The advantage, this fusion produces no neutrons at all. While Xu Teng was pondering, Tang Heibo had gathered all the materials together, and said in a flattering tone, "Senior brother, I have all the required materials ready. Can I build the equipment now? The atmosphere has been set up here." Xu Teng decided to test the assistant. "I want to ask, how many ways do you know of conventional nuclear fusion?" "Huh? Is this what senior brother Xu meant to test me?" He finally thought of coming to test me. Tang Heibo raised his chest, took a breath, and said with a high air, "I know. There are usually 3 ways to generate nuclear fusion. One is the gravitational field constraint, the second is inertial confinement, such as the use of lasers for confinement. The third method is to carry out magnetic confinement nuclear fusion. Generally, tokamak, stellarator, magnetic mirror, etc. are used. Compared with the other two methods, this one is the most promising. Just when Xu Teng was about to ask why, Tang Heibo replied, "Take the third type as an example. The center of the tokamak is a ring-shaped vacuum chamber with coils wound around it. When the tokamak is energized, a huge helical magnetic field will be generated inside the tokamak. The plasma heats up to very high temperatures, so, as long as the current is big enough and the coil is strong enough, it doesn't take that much energy to dissipate it." When Tang Heibo said this sentence, another voice suddenly sounded in Xu Teng's mind. Ding! The badge fusion effect is triggered. Trigger items: blaster gun, nuclear fusion. The effect of the badge? Xu Teng was stunned. When he participated in the basic physics course, he got this badge awarded by the system. At first, he thought it was just an accessory given by the system, but from now on, it seems that there will be different miracles. A second after the sound stopped, the details of the blaster were recalled. When the volatile explosive gas is ignited when burning, it will enter the narrow space of the blaster gun activation module, where it will be transformed into a powerful particle beam. The advantage of the tokamak device is that when the current passes through the coil, it is heated, so that the temperature is rapidly increased to reach the temperature required for the reaction. So, I can combine the cramped space of the blaster activation module with the setup of the tokamak. The ideas that were originally blocked widened, and countless inspirations began to emerge like spring water rise. From the perspective of the entire reaction device, this must be feasible. The narrow space of the blaster activation module can withstand the passage of powerful particle beams. Then from the side, it must be able to withstand a strong current compared to the violent fifth energy scale of the blaster. The power of a small electric current is nothing cut, but that's it. Even if you have already tried your best to output, I still don't feel the slightest difference. Xu Teng's eyes were getting brighter and brighter, and under the effect of the emblem being integrated, a model gradually formed in his mind. Only Tang Heibo was dumbfounded. "What, Brother Xu, what happened? What did I say again? Wait, let me think about it. Tokamak device. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. But isn't this device known to anyone who knows a little about physics?" I didn't do anything else. Looking at Xu Teng's excited eyes, Tang Heibo was frightened. "Woo woo woo, why does Brother Xu seem to have found a blind spot again, and I'm still in abba? I don't know what happened at all, my face full of question marks. Why, the closer I get to seeing your Brother Xu, the more desperate I feel." After 3 seconds, Xu Teng's eyes gradually became normal. At this time, the voice of the black technology system came out in my mind. "Ding, the badge fusion effect has ended. Welcome to the next trigger." Why is this black technology system still as polite as the waiter? But it's okay, that's not the point. The point is that during the time when the effect was triggered, Xu Teng had already found a way. Xu Teng looked up at Tang Heibo, who was in a daze, and said, "Junior brother, you really helped me a lot, Tang Heibo. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels." Chapter 96. Because he is light. What did I just do? Didn't you do anything? Didn't you just read the knowledge that everyone knew? Tang Heibo was a little confused at the moment, but he didn't dare to speak or move, just silently watching Xu Teng building materials, for fear of disturbing him. As Tang Heibo guessed, the device Xu Teng chose was indeed a tokamak device. The definition of high temperature is more than 1000 degrees or more. That is, high temperature. As long as ordinary people enter this temperature, the whole body will start to carbonize. The temperature required for nuclear fusion is ultra-high temperature, because the essence of the nuclear fusion reaction is to split the atomic nuclei by heating. However, the distance between atomic nuclei is femtometers, which leads to a great repulsion between them. To counteract this repulsion requires a great deal of kinetic energy. Under these conditions, the temperature required for nuclear fusion is usually several million degrees Celsius or more. That's right, millions of degrees Celsius. Ordinary equipment can't withstand this temperature at all, nor can it reach this heating temperature. Then, the advantages of the tokamak device are reflected. The current passing through the huge coil will react, and then the temperature will continue to rise. After many repetitions, the temperature will rise under the magnetic effect of the current. However, our laboratory seems to be unable to resist such a high acceleration speed, Tang Heibo said silently in his heart. Xu Teng, who had already built the simple Tormac device, turned his head and said, "I guess you are thinking now that even if we build the device, the laboratory can't provide such a high acceleration rate." Tang Heibo's eyes widened. No way. Does Brother Xu still have the ability to hear the voices of others? How could I not know about this? I'll test you. Do you remember the general process of our blaster gun? Blast gun. Although I don't know why Brother Xu said this, but Tang Heibo still lowered his head and muttered in thought. The blaster essentially uses a volatile blasting gas and then beams particles through the narrow space of the activation module, and many more. Seems like I missed something. Upside down. Upside down. Start the module. Narrow space. Turning his head, he saw the coil on the nuclear fusion side again. Through the current magnetic effect, the temperature was increased. Spend instant inspiration. Senior brother, do you want to improve the narrow space of the blaster's activation module on the Tormac device? Xu Teng nodded with a smile. Unexpectedly, the current junior brother Tang is not bad. I just reminded him a little, and he understood what was going on. If so, Tang Heibo's eyes lit up. The current magnetic effect is related to the number of turns of the coil and is proportional. To be more specific, the more coils I wind, the stronger the current magnetic effect and the faster the temperature rise. The key point is that the number of turns of the coil is actually under a certain limit, and it cannot be wound infinitely, which can cause a real bug. But the narrow space of the blaster activation module is an ultra-high-speed reaction device. Without it, the volatile gas passing through here would not be transformed into a hypervelocity particle beam. Even need the same. That really is a combination of the two devices. Gan, Brother Xu is really strong. Is this the genius who can finish the basic physics course in 1 month, make all physics majors autistic, and be praised by professional professors at the same time? Following senior brother Xu was indeed a wise choice. No matter what the experimental process is like, you can always trust senior brother Xu. Seeing Tang Heibo's eyes light up, Xu Teng also understood. He figured it out. So, do you now know what I'm doing? I know. Tang Heibo replied with a smile. Not everyone who engages in scientific research is selfless, and not everyone is willing to share what they have learned with others, because even in scientific research, there will be competition in the dark and knowledge has entered the era of payment. But senior brother Xu, although he is so strong, he will never hide his secrets, just like the situation just now. If it was another senior brother, maybe he wouldn't say a word you can understand. It is your blessing if you don't understand. It means that you have no faith. Thinking of this, Tang Heibo couldn't help but choked up and asked, "Brother Xu, why are you willing to teach me?" Xu Teng, who was building the equipment, was stunned. He looked up and asked, "Why are you asking this?" "Why, yes, why am I asking this? In the culture that the Dragon Kingdom has passed down for thousands of years, it has always been pedagogy and no class. Probably because I heard too much and turned my face because of academic issues," Tang Heibo said dully. "Because I rarely see people like senior brother Xu anymore." "Rare?" Xu Teng was stunned and recalled, in fact, there have been many bad phenomena in the academic world, such as grabbing a place for the first work, such as major experimental falsification data, and publishing it on authoritative journals. The other labs later repeated the experimental steps and could not produce the data in the paper, so they raised doubts publicly. Finally, a farce ended in a hurry with the suicide of the mentor. But where there is darkness, there must be light in the distance, even if it was just a little bit. It was like a mighty rush. I, Xu Teng, would like to be that beam of light. Thinking of this, Xu Teng smiled. However, your sentence does not mean that there is another kind of person. He patted Tang Heibo on the shoulder and encouraged, "As for why I am willing to teach you, because you are my assistant, only this reason is enough. If you still want to ask, I just want to say, there were ancestors who spent their entire lives in the Jinjie battlefield in order to prevent our generation from fighting. Actually, there were such people in the Dragon Kingdom in the past few decades. There will be people like this in the next decades and hundreds of years in the country. I just want to complete the ion energy shield. You happen to be here, just want to learn, and I just understand." Thousands of words come together in one sentence. If there is no country, there is no home. Long ago scientific research must be followed by someone. The last few words were not loud, but they were deaf. It made Tang Heibo's nose sour and burst into tears. Instantly he began to understand why Xu Teng was different from their group. A person who is pure in scientific research does not care about the things around him, like money, like entertainment, like other clutter. Ko Gong, I'm sorry, the romance of a real man is to engage in scientific research. Dean Yun and the big guys behind him. The respect for senior brother Xu is not just in scientific research. Looking at Xu Teng, who was building the final startup module, Tang Heibo said in his heart, "No matter what, No matter what happens, you can always trust senior brother Xu, because he is light. Chapter 97 Number 1 built the module on the one day. On the other side, not long after Yunsheng left the lab, the phone rang. Who? Call me early in the morning. Do you have a sense of public morality? Yunsheng muttered in dissatisfaction, fumbling in his pocket, and when he took out the phone and was about to hang up, he saw the name of the note, teacher, and instantly woke up with fright. Teacher, you called me so early. Before he could finish speaking, he was interrupted by Su Wei. Have the application materials arrived yesterday? Did you delay Xiao Su's experiment time? Yunsheng originally had a smile on his face, but when he heard this sentence, his expression twitched wildly. Sure enough, I am still ignorant. I knew that I would definitely not have hope since I had junior brother Su. Yunsheng, have become tool people. Woohoo! After such a comparison, as expected, junior brother Su still loves me. At least, he will comfort me. I want to rest early. The materials have arrived, and junior brother Su is already preparing for the experiment. I just came out of the laboratory. That's good. I'm relieved to hear this. Su Wei seemed to have thought of something, and hesitated and asked, you didn't delay Xiao Su's experiment. I'm riding a horse. My mind is broken. You used to tell me to pay attention to my body, but now, you only ask me if I have delayed Xiao Su's research. Am I that kind of person in your eyes? Oh no! Yunsheng suddenly realized that Xu Teng's experiment seemed to be really incomprehensible to him. Pen Fun Library at the beginning. He just didn't understand the schematic diagram of the blaster gun. No way. Who told me that I was just a disciple of a mediocre scholar of applied mathematics? Those professional things, I really do not understand. That's it. It seems that if I do stay there, it will only delay junior brother Su's research. Having figured this out, Yunsheng felt even more pain in his heart. So, like a salted fish who lost his dream, no. I didn't delay junior brother Su's research. I just came out after I counted the materials. Counting materials overnight. Su Wei seems to have grasped the key content at once. Yunsheng was breathing quickly. Yes, the teacher really still loves me. Well, this night, just when Yunsheng was about to cast the spell, he was interrupted by Su Wei. That's good. Yunsheng, teacher, did you call in the morning just to anger me? Su Wei was silent on the phone for a moment, then hesitantly asked, isn't it true that Xiao Su only started the experiment when you left? Although Yunsheng was a little strange, he still answered seriously, well, yes. Hearing that there are other meanings behind the teacher, Yunsheng asked curiously, teacher, what did you call to ask? I just told Li Rongsheng about Xiao Su's project last night. Say something. Yunsheng frowned slightly. Teacher, your words are too subtle. From what I know about you, shouldn't you be crazy about showing off? Although Li Rongsheng was very angry, he told me a key point. The idea of using nuclear fusion as the core of shield energy is a good idea, but let's face it, there are many problems. The most critical point is how to achieve artificial control, and a more specific statement is, how to reach the temperature of the nuclear fusion reaction. Even if it is a tokamak device, which uses a magnetic field to accelerate, it needs to use huge coils and extremely high voltage. You know, I actually know a little bit about this. No. You don't understand it all. In fact, you are just an ordinary academician of applied mathematics. Yunsheng began to dismantle in his heart. So, I was thinking about changing a laboratory for Xiao Su, hooking. It seems that the voltage level is not enough, so it should not be able to provide such a strong voltage. Huh? What the teacher said seems to be correct. In Yunsheng's short scientific research career, he knew that the voltage levels of electricity used in different places are different. In some areas, the voltage will not only be high, but it will not be prone to power outages. In some areas, the voltage is relatively low, the priority is not so high, and there will be occasional power outages, and nuclear fusion does require such a high voltage level. Just when Yunsheng was about to go back to the laboratory, Su Wei said, hey, it's actually fine. After all, this is the first day. How could there be any scientific research personnel, and all the equipment will be built on the first day of, yes, how is that possible? Yunsheng also echoed in his heart. Immediately afterwards, the two fell into silence for a moment in the presence of other researchers. These situations are indeed impossible, but, at the same time, the two thought of the project of the blaster gun. It was like that in the beginning. I thought it would be a long time, but when I went to see it, Xu Teng started the test of the improvised blaster directly. Yunsheng also personally tested the performance of the blaster gun. The hard test board was like paper paste in front of the first energy scale. Then, thinking of the two people here, I couldn't help but say at the same time, how about, let's go and see? Others really can't, but Xu Teng is not something that ordinary people can compare. Okay, just go have a look. I'll wait for your call when the time comes. Okay, teacher, I'll go right now. In the lab, Xu Teng was building the last piece of the puzzle for the first test. I planned to make a simplified version, so Xu Teng didn't spend much effort. A silver-white ring device is lying on the table. A permanent magnetic pole is inserted in the center of the ring, and the silver-white ring is surrounded by a piece of winding coil. The wound coils provide parallel magnetic fields to accelerate the plasma current in the vacuum inside the ring. This is the most basic tokamak device, but now there are more narrow white space modules on the coil outside the device, which are the activation modules on the blaster gun. Of course, these starter modules are not randomly placed, because the current has a direction in the energized magnetic field. Placing it randomly will only weaken the kinetic energy of the plasma current. The orientation of all startup modules is strictly calculated. Looking at the pile of white papers spread out on the table, Tang Heibo felt numb because he saw with his own eyes. How did Xu Teng figure out the directions of the more than 100 blaster starter modules within 10 minutes? That's right, it is more than 100 yuan, and the angle of each startup module is different at that time. Xu Teng's computing speed almost refreshed Tang Heibo's cognition. He once doubted, can anyone in the world really achieve this level of computing? Maybe, my beloved senior brother Xu, really did it, huh? It's finally okay. When the last boot module was put in place, Xu Teng exhaled a breath. Now, it's time to really start experimenting. Chapter 98. Successful, but not completely successful. Xu Teng beckoned behind him, indicating that the experiment can begin. 1 second, 5 seconds, 10 seconds, still no response. When he turned around, he found Tang Heibo, who was stunned, with dull eyes. Abba for Tang Heibo, it was beyond imagination at this moment. Ordinary scientific researchers, the project is not based on a few months, or a few years, but to Brother Xu research. I'm sorry, it's not difficult to follow senior Brother Xu after all. On the first day again, all the devices were set up and many more. Why should I say it again? Junior Brother Tang, Junior Brother Tang, wake up. What? Tang Heibo's eyes, who had been sluggish at first, finally became clear. Looking at Xu Teng, who was constantly calling him, his thoughts finally came back. Currently in the lab, the first ignition of nuclear fusion is about to begin, so I must leave a good impression on senior Brother Xu. In this way, there will be no shortage of scientific research projects in the future. Junior Brother Tang, were you uncomfortable just now? Xu Teng saw Tang Heibo standing there in a daze, thinking it was because he hadn't slept well last night, causing him to catch a cold. No discomfort. How could I possibly be uncomfortable? It's Brother Xu, your operation is really amazing. Before this, I have never seen anyone who can manually calculate the position where more than 100 templates should be placed within 10 minutes. It seems that Brother Xu's performance in the basic physics class some time ago has somewhat converged. Well, then you go and pull down the switch. We're going to energize it here. Unlike other ways of confining nuclear fusion, tokamak devices are mainly controlled by magnetic confinement. The external expression is also as long as the power is supplied to the inside. Well, okay, I'll go right now. Tang Heibo's tone was full of excitement. This is a nuclear fusion project, although just a small incidental energy project, but this still does not affect. It is a world-class project. Tang Heibo, an ordinary first-year graduate student, was able to participate in this. What an honor it is, and the current experiment has a great chance of being successful. With excitement, Tang Heibo pulled the switch. The silver-white tokamak device gradually lights up. To facilitate the distinction of the experiment, Xu Teng installed white conductive phosphors on the coils of the tokamak, and installed blue conductive phosphors on the starter module. In Xu Teng's plan, the experiment is divided into 3 parts in total. The first part is to activate the tokamak device first, and in the running stage, check whether the tokamak device operates normally through the white conductive phosphor buzzing. This is the sound of current passing through the coil. Blah blah blah. A series of voices sounded, and the tokamak lit up with white light. Some white light flashed a few times, and immediately returned to normal, becoming a constant light state at this time. Only the last white light. Tang Heibo and Xu Teng turned their heads and looked over senior Brother Xu. You can definitely do it. And Xu Teng's breathing became a little faster. According to theoretical calculations, there should be no problem with electricity to spare. The last white light came on. Tang Heibo waved his fist and called out the first step of the experiment was a perfect success. Rongjin Building. Classroom 308. The crowd above suddenly noticed that the lamp above their heads flickered a few times. What's wrong? The voltage is unstable? This is the first time I've encountered this. It's okay. In a small situation, think for the best, and rule out the first wrong option. The voltage in the school can't support someone doing experiments in the school. The words are not over yet. Clap clap. A series of voices rang out. Everyone looked up and found that the white light tube on the top of the head blew directly. The metal contact part of the lamp tube is all burnt to black. The students who haven't finished speaking are embarrassed. In the laboratory, Xu Teng looked up and asked, "How long did the first part of the experiment last?" "It's been a minute." "Okay, then we enter the second part of the experiment." Experiments with tokamak devices do not start the second part of the experiment immediately after the first part of the experiment is successful because the device needs to run for a period of time to observe. 1 minute is exactly the limit state designed by Xu Teng's theory exists in his theoretical design. The factor of the school voltage was also taken into account, even though the tokamak device in the laboratory is just a little guy. However, the power consumption is very powerful after more than a minute. Electricity usage elsewhere in the school suffers as for why not go to other research bases, because the experiment has not been carried out to that point. Even with special channels, helicopters carry Xu Teng, experimental devices are transported, personnel are mobilized. All of this takes time. Every task released by the black technology system has a certain time requirement behind the scenes if it is really necessary. Do some experiments in working first, make a report request, wait until everything is arranged before going. The time utilization rate is higher. The second part of the experiment, when the first part of the experiment runs successfully, activate the blaster start module on the upper part of the coil, and use the blaster start module to accelerate faster. Tang Heibo had already arrived in front of the switching power supply, stood in front of the blue power button and shouted, "Senior brother, I'm ready." "Okay, start the second part of the experiment immediately." Tang Heibo pressed the blue power button without hesitation. Blah blah blah. Blue lights. Every other coil unit lights up during this part of the experiment. The required voltage will be lowered and every other coil unit of the blaster activation module will be activated because, calculated by theoretical formula, this approach will generate a huge spiral magnetic field inside the tokamak device at the moment when the magnetic field is generated. The speed of the plasma current in the inner vacuum tube will be greatly improved in an instant under the effect of the electromagnetic field. If the voltage still maintains the state of the first part, there may be an instant loss of control. The experiment still has to be done slowly, and the power is pulled to the fullest, which will bring a huge burden to the device. Buzzing. Compared with the previous ones, the sound of this experiment became more grumpy. It won't get out of hand. Looking at the blue light of the blaster starter module, Tang Heibo felt a little unsure because the shock that the blaster gave him before was too great. Through the display of the instrument, he could also see that the internal temperature had been rising sharply. At this moment, the door of the laboratory opened. Chapter 99 More Powerful Energy. Along the way, Yuncheng has been trying to convince himself, how long after I left the lab, how could it be so fast? Even if the experiment is not an experiment of ion energy shield, it is also a nuclear fusion experiment to solve the energy problem. That's a nuclear fusion experiment, not an experiment that can be done in one fell swoop. I remember that even for a small fusion experiment, it would take a day or two to build a device. Unconsciously, he came to the laboratory sizzle. Hearing this voice, Yunsheng looked up. The street lights not far away flickered a few times, as if the voltage was insufficient. Then, the next second, it exploded directly. Fried. How can the school voltage be unstable? Suddenly, Yunsheng seemed to have thought of something. The expression on his face is even more weird. No way? Is it really junior brother Xu? Walking to the door of the laboratory, pressing the fingerprint, the door slammed open. When rushing in, Yunsheng was immediately dumbfounded because when he was arranging the materials before, he deliberately checked the materials and made up for the knowledge of the tokamak device in front of me. This silver-white ring happens to be the tokamak device in the data. The white light lit up, and the power supplier roared in the distance. Oh my god, the teacher just conveyed Li Rongsheng's idea. Xiaosu's idea is indeed good, but the nuclear fusion project is still a world-class problem until now. A world-class puzzle? Are you telling me this is a world-class problem? So what is this device in front of me at this moment? Yunsheng was a little suspicious. It's not that I don't believe it, the level of the big guys. It's that after watching junior brother Su's project, I think you are doing scientific research while herding cattle, because junior brother Xu, it took less than an hour to carry out the experimental project, and judging from the situation on site, the experimental progress is very smooth. Even though Yunxing is a disciple who can only do applied mathematics, but it still can be seen that this tokamak device is different from the others on the silver-white coil. There are also blue devices. And each blue device is in a different position. It's an accessory inside the blaster gun. Quiet, the blue light he had only seen in the blaster project not long ago. I thought of this when I first saw the blue device. Why did junior brother Xu pretend to be like this? I turned my head inadvertently and saw the soaring temperature on the instrument and the blue device that lights up every second. Does this work too? He understood. This is junior brother Xu who changed the blaster device to a tokamak device, and the effect was very good. Picking up the phone tremblingly, both hands began to type with difficulty. Teacher, Xu, junior brother Xu, the experiment has started. I'm on the scene. I'm afraid of disturbing them. Unlike Yunxing's excitement, Xu Teng was staring at the temperature curve of the instrument and began to calculate the data on site in his mind. The rate of temperature rise is much faster than with a simple tokamak. Turning his head to look at the volt-seconds of the plasma current on the other side, with the activation of the blaster starter module, the speed basically increases at a proportional rate. This shows that the kinetic energy of the plasma current inside the instrument has not been weakened, and it has always been rising. It also reflects from the side, and everything from the experiment now is in the process of theoretical calculation. Well, in other words, it's very safe. The last blaster activation module is about to activate. If everything can be stabilized for 2 minutes, you can enter the third part of the research. Despair. The last blue light is also lit at this moment. The volt-second meter of the plasma current, the internal temperature meter, and the indices of the two instruments began to soar wildly. The buzzing sound became louder and louder, and the silver-white instrument began to appear a little black. Tang Heibo swallowed unconsciously because he knew what it meant. The second part of the most critical experiment is here. At the same time, because senior brother Xu magically modified the tokamak device, it was suffering damage that should not have been suffered during this time period. The device won't blow up. Will it? Just when this idea popped into Tang Heibo's mind, Xu Teng pressed a red button. Puff puff. With a sound, the black spots on the outside of the instrument began to disappear. Fuck, what is this? Tang Heibo was stunned. When brother Xu was assembling the instrument, I was standing next to him. Why, well, I never knew the red button had this function. That's the inspiration I got from the blaster project. Xu Teng turned his head to explain when he decided to magically modify the tokamak. He had already thought of this. The blaster activation module will make the temperature rise rapidly, and the internal pressure will increase sharply, which means that the original tokamak may not be able to withstand it. With the achievement of the badge fusion, Xu Teng contacted the particle beam of the blaster gun, and it can be used as an attack method. So it can also be used as a maintenance method to remove the black spots of the material. Let the pressure of the inner material maintain a force-balanced angle and will not be damaged. Then, in the last 2 minutes, the two of them and Yunxing, who was standing in the corner, had been watching the progress of the experiment. Pen fun liberate in seconds. 1 minute, 1 minute and 30 seconds. The device moved a bit, except for Xu Teng. The expressions of both of them became nervous. In 1 minute and 35 seconds. The device returned to stability. 2 minutes. The experiment was successful. Tang Heibo turned his head to look at Xu Teng, and Xu Teng said directly, "Immediately carry out the third part of the experiment." In fact, what Xu Teng conducted was not a simple nuclear fusion experiment according to the current experimental situation. The nuclear fusion experiment of the world's difficult problem has obtained a huge breakthrough. Judging from the drawings given by Black Technology, the energy guarantee of the ion energy shield has been basically completed. Don't look at it for just 2 short minutes. On the battlefield where the war is raging, when the individual soldier opens the shield, and the vehicle is running at full power, it is completely possible to kill directly from the front line of the battlefield to a position not far from the command post. The straight line distance between 2 points is the shortest. Other armors need to avoid fire points. Unlike the individual soldier with the ion energy shield, he will take off his earplugs and politely say something to you. What are you talking about? As a qualified individual soldier, do you need to avoid other people's fire coverage points? Don't turn on the ion energy shield directly, just go straight up. Obtaining the badge integration was unexpected. The same is true of the modified tokamak device, which means that if the third part of the experiment can be successful, the ion energy shield will get more powerful energy power. Can this be given up? Of course it can't. Chapter 100. Open the curtain of the new technology era. Just as Xu Teng announced the success of the second part of the experiment, new news entered Yunxing's phone. The experiment has begun. When Su Wei received this message, He thought for a while that his eyes were dazzled because, how long has it been? When Li Rongsheng said it again yesterday, Su Wei went to find out that the best device for nuclear fusion is to use a tokamak device. Even building the equipment will take a while. After all, Xiao Su had learned basic physics knowledge in the month before, but he was not a student in the hands of a big boss. Then, how did the experiment work? Su Wei nervously swallowed his saliva. From common sense, there should be no experimental effect. This is Xiao Su. With the results of the previous blaster project, he began to dare to guess even if there is no progress, there will still be some conclusions. It's perfect. Oh, it turned out to be perfect. I knew that Xiao Su would definitely have some conclusions, and many more. Very perfect. Only then did Su Wei react. You didn't lie to me? Do you know what you're talking about? This is a nuclear fusion experiment. Just a little bit. Su Wei is about to say something. I don't want to be so open when joking. Teacher, I didn't lie to you. The experiment is really perfect. Seeing that the simple words could not convince the teacher, Yun Sheng went straight to take pictures, meters for internal temperature, volt-seconds of plasma current, and most importantly, a magically modified tokamak. Looking at the pictures, Su Wei started to fall into ecstasy after being surprised. Haha, Xiao Su was born for scientific research. The experiment came to fruition perfectly. Is Xiao Su starting to create an ion energy shield? The project application form was written by Su Wei himself. He naturally knew that the reason for Su Wei's nuclear fusion experiment was to create a powerful energy source for the ion shield. Pen Fund Library. No, junior brother Su seems to have to conduct the next stage of the experiment, the next stage of experimentation. Su Wei is a little strange. Isn't the energy already created? At this time, Yun Sheng's news came. Judging from the situation at the scene, not all the blue lights on the modified tokamak light up. Junior brother Su's experiments behind him should be intended to make him all light up. Blue light. It was only now that Su Wei discovered that the tokamak device sent by Yun Sheng was indeed different from the document. What are these things? Why is Xiao Su able to magically modify the device after just 1 month of basic courses? Can a genius really do whatever he wants? According to my observation, the blue light part on the device is a part of the inner part of the blaster gun. Blast gun accessories. Su Wei was stunned when he saw this sentence again. Geniuses can really do whatever they want. Obviously it is not a project. One is an attack, and the other belongs to the armor category. This can all be changed. And, the experiment was also a perfect success. No, with the joy of this kind of genius disciple. I can never be happy alone. I must let the old guy Li Rongsheng be happy with me. Su Wei typed. I see. Yun Sheng was stunned when he saw the news. Why do I feel that the teacher is extraordinarily calm this time? When Su Wei closed the dialogue window with Yun Sheng, he opened another with trembling hands. The next second, Li Rongsheng. Yesterday, Su Wei told Li Rongsheng about the new project. He knew that today was the time when Xu Teng's new project started. Although, I couldn't believe it in my heart. Xu Teng would soon complete the nuclear fusion project, but inside, I was looking forward to it again. What if there were really some results today? After all, it is a nuclear fusion project. In theory, it is the cleanest energy source, the most powerful, and the most abundant raw material. The raw material is water, also known as the boiling water experiment. I was going to ask Su Wei, the old guy, about the progress of the experiment. As a result, as soon as he came up, he said, I'm afraid this person is not a little wrong. How can anyone start chatting like this as a researcher? Can you control your own psychological feelings? Su Wei, who typed those 3 words, began to keep saying in his heart, calm down, be calm. Don't shake your hands, or you won't be able to type. But the moment I touched the keyboard, my hands trembled with excitement. Let me tell you, at this time's experiment $. When Li Rongsheng saw this text, his head was big. Okay, old guy, you can't type any words anymore. What's wrong with the experiment? In fact, Li Rongsheng vaguely guessed that for an aging scientific researcher like them, the excitement is not too great. If it hadn't happened to something significant, there would have been absolutely no emotional outbursts. And today, Xiao Su's new experiment was launched, and the first project was to solve the energy problem of the ion energy shield. So, nuclear fusion was the first to be experimented. That's nuclear fusion, and Su Wei is so excited. It means, nuclear fusion is really solved. No, it's not that I don't believe it, but I really have never seen such a scene. If it can be solved so quickly, even the smallest nuclear fusion device would be a great breakthrough. Xiao Su, the experiment of nuclear fusion, has been completed. Yun Sheng sent me a message just now. Of course, Xiao soon modified the tokamak device. Immediately after, several pictures of the scene were passed to Li Rongsheng. There are also several blue halos on the silver-white ring. The blue part above is the accessories in the blaster gun project. Xiao Su changed those accessories to the tokamak device, which made the experiment a perfect success. So, I have to say, my students are still amazing. I don't know what you guys are doing with scientific research every day. Looking at the speed of your scientific research, I am now suspecting that you are doing scientific research while herding cattle in the wild. Su Wei's news directly confused Li Rongsheng. Ward Day, magic device? Or use the accessories from the last blaster project. The experiment was a perfect success. Are you kidding me? But those instruments, those blue lights that light up, are all telling Li Rongsheng that these are the real situations. One by one, Li Rongsheng was shocked. Is scientific research really that simple? This really kicks off the curtain of a new era of technology, and this time. Pen interest library. In the working experiment, Tang Heibo pressed the blue button at Xu Teng's gesture. The third part of the experiment has begun. If successful, the problem of ion energy shield energy will be completely solved. End of this chapter. Thank you so much for reading until the end. Don't forget to give it a like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription or donation encourages us to continue. Thank you all. See you in the next video.